video and collaboration solution. Ooma? Yep, switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma, smart communications for the smarter business.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs
and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner?
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
HGTV's Build It Forward in collab with Lowe's and 100 Hometowns. We'll select 5 local heroes for a surprise home renovation of their dreams. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern on HGTV and Discovery Plus.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, happy Wednesday. Welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. It's rainy and crappy outside, but excited to be hanging out inside, hanging out with everybody, including Kev. Kev, cheer the hell up, would you?
What up, dog?
There you go.
No,
there you go.
This phone is blinking at me.
You'll be all right.
Maybe.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
If we don't pick up the phone, you'll know why.
518-1410. That's the number to call in, by the way. So it's funny. I woke up this morning and I'm in a group chat with some really good friends of mine. And the morning started out with the debate. I think we're still friends. I mean, in fact, Brad Mays, which sponsors the show, Brad Mays, Home Experts Realty, he's a part of this. And you know how I am when people don't agree with me. I don't know how to just say, I respect where you're coming from. But in fact, I haven't heard a word from him all day. So I wonder why. The last thing I told him was, I'm like, well, listen, here's the deal, dude. I was like, I can get you in touch with our business manager if you want to pull the sponsorship. I completely understand. I don't think that's what he's going to do. But Max Kellerman this morning, as we head into the weekend with the Masters coming up, which I'm jacked about, by the way, which we'll talk about in a moment. There was not really a debate, but a statement made, quite a statement made, by the way, by Max Kellerman on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, the morning show here on ESPN Radio. And it was interesting because it was a take that when I initially heard it, I was like, ooh, that's weird. And then the more I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, I could kind of see where he's coming from talking about Max Kellerman. I have learned in my 32 years of life that there are 2 human beings on earth that you cannot criticize. You're not allowed to criticize. And I don't even look at this, what we're about to talk about, as a criticism. But there are 2 human beings in the sports universe that if you even have anything remotely slightly negative to say, you will be destroyed. Mm-hmm. Destroyed. Now, I don't feel what Max Kellerman said was really all that bad. And I actually think if you actually listen to his explanation, it makes a lot of sense. But again, there is no logic. There is no reasoning with people when it comes to Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, y'all. So Max Kellerman on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max had this to say about Tiger Woods earlier this morning. Take a listen.
Tiger Woods is an elite athlete. Would you not say Tiger Woods is not an elite athlete?
No, I would not say that.
No, I would. You would not say Tiger Woods is an elite athlete.
No, I would say Tiger's an elite. Tiger is. That may be okay. He may be, but I don't think you can demonstrate that just by playing golf. What I know about Tiger is his hand-eye is next level. His will to win is extremely excellent, exactly. Right? And his mechanics are beautiful, right? All those kind of things. I don't know how fast he runs, how high he jumps, all that kind of
stuff. Do anything about him being an elite athlete?
He's got some.
Come on, Max.
He's got some athletic traits in him.
Come on, man.
Agreed. You can look at him and tell, but you don't know that from him playing golf. I don't know what his time in the 40 is, because stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, but the point is this. It is the kind of sport, Jay, that your hand-eye coordination is going to age better than your explosive leaping ability, right? So therefore, just because he's 46, it doesn't mean he's done winning majors necessarily. Exactly. He can still do that. That's the point that we're making.
So I have no issue with what he said. In fact, when you listen to what he said, he actually, people keep doing this whole, there's no way that's true. There's no way you can actually say that. He just gave you away. And that way makes a lot of sense. In fact, I even put out on Facebook earlier today and on Twitter, I said Tiger Woods, and basically this is kind of what Max said to begin with. I said Tiger Woods is an elite golfer. There's no doubt about it. I'm not even coming close to hinting otherwise. Tiger Woods is an elite golfer. When you think of golf, you think of Tiger. There's other great golfers out there in the history of the sport, yes, but Tiger is the face of golf the way MJ will always be the face of basketball. No matter how many people like me try to explain to people that a guy that is bigger, stronger, faster, that can actually play at all 5 positions, guard all 5 positions, and is still dominating at 38-6 at 37 years old. But you know what? Logic does not exist when it comes to Michael Jordan. Logic does not exist when you talk about Tiger Woods. With that being said, Tiger Woods is an elite golfer, but an elite athlete? I don't know. And the sad thing is either do you. You're trying to tell me that he's an elite athlete. Explain. He's the best golfer that's ever lived. That's not explaining it. Because I don't think, and here's why. This is my perception of golf that Tiger falls under, but it's not my direct opinion of him. I don't think that a golfer can be an elite athlete because I don't think that golf necessarily is a sport that displays elite athleticism. When have you watched Tiger do so? Does he sprint between holes? Does he hit a shot and then sprint? And my goodness, no player gets from one hole to the other quicker than Tiger Woods. What does he do? What does he do that's so athletic that you've seen? That's what I need to know. My buddy Brady this morning. Well, he runs a lot. Well, I ran this morning. I don't know if I'm athletic. Look, it's a retirement sport. People work their whole entire lives so that they can retire and go waste all their money on the golf course. All right. No one says, man, I can't wait till I can retire at 60 so I can go join the NFL. Oh, man, I can't wait to be laying on my back, not being able to feel myself from the waist down because I've just got hit by a big old football player. No one says, oh, I can't wait to retire so I can go play basketball 7 days a week. No. Look, this isn't a shot at Tiger Woods. I'm not even saying that he's not athletic. I'm just saying that for you to say that he's the top 5 elite athlete of all time, I don't know how you could say that. He's an elite golfer. I just don't think that the sport of golf, there's nothing that every time I've watched golf or played golf, there's not once that I've said that was the most athletic thing I've ever seen in my life. I say that watching basketball. I say that watching football. I've say that watching soccer and even tennis at times. Golf? No, that's not a shot at golf, by the way. I'm not bashing golf. I'm just saying I can understand where Max is coming from. Max says a lot of foolish things. I think what it is it just sounds weird saying Tiger Woods is not an elite athlete. That's what sounds weird. All I'm saying is I don't know, and you can't tell me that he is because you can't give an example of something that he's done to justify calling him an elite athlete. He's an elite golfer. Just like I don't think you need to be super elite athletic for NASCAR. And those same people that try to tell me how elite of an athlete Tiger Woods is, you'll sit there and laugh at the idea of me saying, or laugh at the idea of someone saying that someone in NASCAR is an elite athlete. I think that you need a little bit more athletic ability to be a golfer because I think there's more to it than that. But to be fair, I've never golfed at a high level. For those of you who have golfed with me, you know what I'm talking about. And, you know, I drive a car, I guess, but you should see me trying to get in and out of a car. It's nothing athletic about that either. So I don't know. Point is, I was laughing. I couldn't believe that this took off the way that it did today. He just got ripped every single show and all across social media. And as a guy that normally gets ripped, I can relate to that. I can sympathize with that a bit. Your thoughts?
Elite level athlete?
Yeah, elite.
Elite level athlete is Russell Westbrook, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, Michael Jordan, Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton. Are we saying that Tiger Woods is athletic as those guys?
Next subject, next topic. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, so I don't play golf at all. Never, ever, never play golf. Top golf is as good as it's going to get for me. So my question for people that say that Tiger Woods is an elite level athlete, because the word is elite. I ain't going to question that he's an athlete. Obviously, he's an athlete. But elite level is Pete Weber, the bowler. Is he an elite level athlete? Was Big Papi an elite level athlete when he was just the DH for the Reds? The Red Sox. Like elite level. We're talking elite. When we're talking elite, we're talking about top 10% of athletes, not just regular guys. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a totally different stratosphere when we're talking about elite level. Is he an athlete? Absolutely. I think you have to be an athlete to play golf, to play professional sport, whether it is bowling or driving a car around a racetrack. I do think you have to have some type of athleticism, and athleticism can be broken down a million different ways, from just what you can do physically, but also your hand-eye coordination and all that type of stuff. Yeah, all that falls into athleticism. But elite level athleticism, we're talking about a dude like Bo Jackson who was able to play 2 professional sports. We're talking about a dude like Deion Sanders that was able to play in the World Series and in an NFL game in the same day. Like, that's the type of elite athlete I'm talking about when we're trying to say elite level. Athlete, yes. Elite level, no.
And that's really what it came, that's why this morning I was like, well, an elite golfer. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm not even going to come close to hinting at that, but there is nothing that I have seen from Tiger on a golf course and now when I watch him, he looks different, plays the game different. He has an aura about him that's different than any other golfer in the history of the sport.
I mean, he brought being in shape to golf. He was the first guy out here lifting weights and everything like that. And that took his game to a different level. His dedication to the game. Like, just because the other dudes are drinking Arnold Palmers and, smoking cigars after the match or whatever, and he's going to hit the weights, like, that's his dedication to the craft. I don't know if that necessarily means he's an elite level athlete. I just think he's super dedicated and wants to win.
Yeah, and that's kind of what that was my main point today. So I was using Tom Brady and Lamar Jackson as a prime example. I don't put Lamar Jackson in that elite level quarterback, but he's kind of that fringe guy because, like, he could just take over and dominate a game in a way that we're not accustomed to seeing, I guess. But I was like, well, they're all athletes, and I'm not saying that all NFL athletes are elite athletes. I mean, Tom Brady's not an elite athlete,
right?
He's an elite quarterback,
right?
Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time. I don't think anyone has ever watched Tom Brady and said, man, that guy's a freak athlete, man.
Yeah.
And that's Tiger Woods. No, I don't think anyone's looked at him and said that's a freak athlete. You can't put him, a freak athlete, in your eyes and put him next to actual real freak athletes like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Reggie Jackson, as you talked about, somebody, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, like
Josh Allen.
Yes.
like Josh Allen's out here running a 4.5 and like 6'5", 265 pounds. Like, that's elite athleticism.
And Kevin and I don't agree on anything. It's a good day. It's a great day.
Show's over.
So I don't know, like Kevin and I didn't even tell him what I was opening up with today. Purposely, I honestly, in my head, I thought we were going to go back and forth on this. I'm very surprised. But okay, since we're not going to argue, let's go to the Facebook feed. So Brady says, yes, the group chat may have been as passionate as this segment on radio this morning, with how people get angry. So some guy says Tiger may have been a 300 hitter in baseball with his elite hand-eye coordination and elite focus, or maybe a great tennis player. Golf just happened to be. But see, you guys, this is what I'm saying. We're all saying the same thing. I have basically said that there is no example of a feat that we have seen Tiger Woods. Like, we've never looked at Tiger Woods and said, that is a freak athlete, man. I can't believe he just did something we've never seen. Swing and hit a golf ball. Swing and hit a golf ball. What? He hasn't done. Is he athletic? Yes, they're all athletes. But at the same time, I don't think I've ever once watched Tiger Woods on the golf course and said, man, I've never seen anything like that, even on a football field, even on a basketball court, even on a tennis court. Everyone that keeps coming at me said, with that hand-eye coordination, man, he could have played baseball. You don't know that. You don't. We have no idea about that. There's guys in baseball that have great hand-eye coordination that can't play golf. That doesn't mean anything. Hand-eye coordination means absolutely zilch as far as being a precursor to estimating what a guy could do if you put him in another sport. Tiger Woods couldn't play baseball, couldn't play basketball, couldn't play football. That's not a shot at Tiger Woods. Who cares? Like, it's not a big deal. He's an elite golfer. That's all. He's just an elite golfer. I just don't think you need to be an elite athlete to be elite at golf, but I think you have to be an elite athlete to be elite at basketball. To be elite at track, to be.
I don't think you need to be an elite athlete to be a professional sport, but in anything, because we have so many examples of guys that aren't elite athletes. Like you just talked about with Tom Brady, he's not an elite athlete, but your mind and your anticipation can take you over the top. Like, there's like Steph Curry, he's not an elite athlete. He's 6'4", he can still barely dunk. He's not an elite athlete, but he got that wet ball. So, like, just because you're not an elite athlete doesn't mean you're not great. Like, the elite athleticism, the ability to get to one place and to another in short spurts of time. Like, what's Buddy from Georgia, the defensive tackle that weighs like 500 pounds, run to 40 in 5 seconds? Jordan Davis, We're talking elite
I
athletes.
was going to say, take Tiger Woods, even in his prime, put him in an NFL combine. Will he outshine anybody? And by the way, that's not even necessarily about football. That's just people running around 40 times, leaping ability, athletic prowess, like that type of stuff.
The NFL combine is a place of displaying your athleticism. That's all it's really about. And that's why I can't stand the combine, because football is far more than your athletic ability. If it was all about athletic ability, a dude like Willie Gault, a former track star and ran on the Olympic team, would have been Jerry Rice. But he wasn't. Jerry Rice ran a 4.7 40 and is the best receiver of all time. It's not all about your athleticism. It's just saying, hey, he's an elite athlete, but guess what? Jerry Rice is a better football player. So what do you want to be? An elite athlete that can do a whole bunch of things well, or be the greatest at one thing? And Tiger Woods is arguably the greatest golfer of all time, and he's not an elite athlete. It's all good.
And to be fair, maybe he is an elite athlete, but there is nothing that we maybe there's nothing tangible that we can go and either look at or grab or touch and say that right there just proves he's just an elite golfer. And it's okay. Tom Brady's an elite quarterback. No one looks at Tom Brady and says that's an elite athlete right there. Now, again, if you go look at I think I pulled it up. I'll have to pull it up. The definition of an athlete is very, boy. We have over dramatized what an athlete is based on our debate today. Because if we just use the very basic definition of that, it's basically anyone that masters a sport. So if that's the case, then every pro athlete, and to be fair, it's very hard to go pro in any kind of sport.
Right.
But if we're going to hold the word elite, to me, that's the term that I'm trying to hold to a high standard here. Elite. I can't say that, you can't just hand that out left and right just to every great not athlete, I guess, but yeah, athlete. I guess that's what it's saying. Like the term athlete has a very low bar, but I think we have over dramatized what an athlete is to where we only say, "Oh man, that's a hell of an athlete right there." Well, you got to understand the worst basketball player. I think they did a thing on Scalabrine. They sent him to the Y, and you think that Scalabrine, you see a guy that you would mock in watching an NBA game until you go on the floor with him. Yeah, they'll eat you alive. That's just even the worst NBA player is still one of the best basketball players in the world. That's just how it is. Same thing. Practice squad guys in the NFL. I've gotten into it with a practice squad guy. They make fun of me. Oh, you work for, there was a guy from here that played on the practice squad for the Bengals he can't stand me because, I'm a big fan of the Bengals and all, but he constantly comes at me and makes fun of, he's a fake ESPN. He works for a small AM station. And I'm like, okay, so basically I'm the radio equivalent to your NFL career. You played for a practice squad. We can make fun of each other's level career all day. Bottom line is I still respect the hell out of him because bums aren't on practice squads. We may say, they're bums compared to the every week's weekend start, every Sunday starters, right? No, he's a hell of an athlete. I know that. And I'm going to only talk smack on Twitter. I ain't going to talk smack to the dude's face because I'll end up like Chris Rock. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, that's just how it's going to be. But appreciate everyone hanging out with us here this afternoon. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Tiger Woods, Max Kellerman said this morning that he's not an elite athlete, and everyone lost their minds. And I even got angry at first too. I'm like, okay, Max, that's kind of, but then when I sat back and thought about it, I'm like, well, to be fair, I don't look at any golfer and say that's an elite athlete. Elite golfer, yes. Elite athlete, not so much. Let's hear from you. 518-1410. Phone lines are open. Give us a call, and we'll hear what you have to say on the other side. Plus, we'll get more of your reaction from the Facebook feed. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show, and leave your opinion in the chat section. We'll pull it in. Even if you disagree and are calling me names, that's fine. I'm used to it. I'm just curious. People keep saying, how can you say that? He's not an elite athlete. I just did. And I just said, how can you tell me he is an elite athlete? What athletic feats have you witnessed him do that you're like, oh man, no one else can do that? Very, very good golfer. Elite golfer, not very, very good golfer. I mean, I should punch myself for saying that he's an elite golfer, not an elite athlete. I don't get it. And I say that about all golfers, by the way. We'll be back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Another prescription, another surgery, here we go again. But the joint pain is still here.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Try something new that can lead you to a better life.
Football champion Emmitt Smith's talking about QC Kinetics, all natural, non-invasive alternatives to surgery and harmful pain medications.
I tried to avoid as many of those things as possible because I did not want to get hooked on pain meds. I didn't want those things to hamper my life.
Patients across the country are saying no to pain meds and discovering QC Kinetics all-natural, biologic, long-lasting solutions to pain relief. Regenerative treatments that help your body restore damaged tissue and get rid of the pain.
The natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
End the cycle of pain meds and avoid surgery.
Call QC Kinetics 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. QC Kinetics 937-936-0325.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com. And upgrade today.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units. Includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, starting wages up to $18.60, and $2,000 sign-on bonus. Candidates can apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Keyword search distribution. Location Tip City, or call 937-669-9155. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are available with on-the-spot job offers. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9155. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
The Menards Garden Center is open. Save 11% at your one-stop destination for all your outdoor projects. Want flowers for your deck, patio, or yard? We've got hundreds of colorful options to choose from. Growing a larger garden? We've got the soils, seeds, and tools you need. Landscaping? Check out our wide selection of edgers, pavers, and patio block. The Menards Garden Center. Let's grow. Savings are mail-in rebates. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Is your prostate waking you up more often than your alarm clock? The fact is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostateoneperday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter.com/find.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We have the WING Free Agent Funds Cash Contest going live right now, actually, by the way. In fact, we'll have our winning word for you coming up here just around the corner. People all the time say, when's the last time someone won? And we had someone win. We have $1,000 winner. I don't think we can give that lady's name.
Not yet.
Say congratulations to her. She's real. All right, my friends, my whole life, every time I said there's this lady, I got to tell you, she ain't real, okay? Let's be real. This lady's real, though. She actually won $1,000 listening to 1410 WING. Will you be the next one? Continue listening for your chance to win $1,000 for the WING Free Agent Funds Cash Contest. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash, and we pick up where we left off. A little Facebook reaction, of course. So, Brady, Kev, your reaction to this. He says, and let me reset the stage here. So Max Kellerman on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, for those of you just joining us this morning, I was listening on my way in. I was actually up very early. I came into work way earlier than I usually do to get some stuff done. And I hear this debate going on, and Max Kellerman just kind of quietly in passing. I don't even think they anticipated getting into this debate, but that's just how sometimes this works. They had asked him if he believed that Tiger Woods was an elite athlete. He goes, no. He doesn't think he's an elite athlete. And his response was mainly because, well, we don't know. We've never seen him run a 40. We don't know how high he could jump. We haven't seen him in any kind of physical duress as far as we just watch him golf. Mm-hmm. And let's just be real. Golf is not I'm not saying it's not super strenuous or that there's nothing tiring about it. By the way, I think there's nothing in life better than a post-golf nap, by the way. There's a lot of, maybe the post-mow nap. Post jump in the pool nap. I've always found a good post boat day nap to be pretty good too. But something about a post golf nap, nothing like it. I'll take that over anything in life. I'm not even money, sex, anything. Just post golf nap. I'll take that all day. So I know it could be. It's a little tiresome, but you know what happens usually every time I walk off. I'm walking back to my car from the golf course. Hey, 80-year-old. Hey, 75-year-old. Hey, 72-year-old. You know what I don't do when I leave, the Y or somewhere where I'm playing basketball? There's not 80-year-olds running up and down the floor to pick up game. Stop.
Fill in the lane.
Yeah, fill the No, but in all
backdoor cuts, smacking boards.
Unless what's that Kyrie? What's that bit he did? Uncle Drew. Yes, that, and he wasn't even a real old guy. So I'm just saying. So Brady says 145 people in the entire world have tour cards. He won the most majors. Brady, aren't you supposed to be working, by the way? But anyways, he's arguing with me, saying 145 people in the entire world have tour cards. He's won the most majors while running 8 miles a day and bench pressing 315 pounds. Tell me how many in the NBA can do that. Also, I want to see them hit a golf ball. Pretty much all NBA players. In fact, after what happened last night, LeBron, I think, might be on a golf course right now. I'm not 100% sure. That's what these guys do. This is their off-season, have a little loose fun time, retirement type deal. Like, that's what golf is. No one said, no, like I said, Tiger Woods, when he said, I'm going to retire from golf after the Masters this weekend, I'm going to join a pickup basketball league. I can't wait to do that. No one does that.
I can name 2 NBA dudes that can do that.
Name it.
J.R. Smith and Steph Curry, both scratch golfers.
There you go. And MJ was making more money on the golf course than he was actually during his playing days back in the days.
Probably.
But no, I know what Brady's saying. See, but this is where I feel like the Tiger defenders are getting real upset about it, is like, it just sounds like we're taking shots at Tiger Woods, and we're not. We're not. I just think it's very simple. I just don't think golf is a sport that really shows off great elite athleticism. You don't need to be an elite athlete.
You keep hitting on that word, elite. And that's the harping thing for me. Athlete, yes, absolutely, yeah. Elite, no. I don't understand how can people get so upset about that. And to be honest, man, you don't have to be an elite athlete to be a great professional sports player or whatever sport you is. Tom Brady is considered the GOAT. He's not athletic. You go look at Larry Bird, he wasn't athletic. You look at Steph Curry, he's not athletic. They're all great basketball players. Then you go look at a guy like Harold Miner. He was super athletic. How was his NBA career? It in all actuality, when it comes down to their sport, it really don't matter. It helps to be super athletic. And we take a look at a lot of other guys, especially guys like Russell Westbrook. When he first got into the NBA, people marveled at his athleticism and everything like that. And now that his game isn't evolving and everything like that, and his athleticism is decreasing, he's becoming less of a basketball player because he relies so much on that athleticism. If I was a basketball player, I would obviously like to be athletic, but I don't need to be supremely athletic. I need to be great at dribbling the ball, shooting the ball, high basketball IQ. And Tiger Woods doesn't need to be an elite athlete to be one of the best golfers of all time. Like, I think I think he proved that over the length of his career that he doesn't need all that to be as great as he is.
Yeah, look, the last Masters he won a few years ago. That guy, he's not 100%. He'll never be 100% golfer ever again.
I mean, that was even before this car accident.
His last like, to me, like, if being as beat up as Tiger is and still able to be in contention and even win it a few years ago, that just shows you don't even need to be peak athletic to win this. And that's not a shot at golfers, but it's just not. I am the worst golfer in the world, okay? In the world. It is the best sport and worst sport at the same time. Of all the things I suck at, it's the most expensive. I'm not trying to make light of the sport, but at the same time, it's an activity that the worst of the worst, the Kinners of the world, can partake in, and the best of the best, the Tigers, could partake in. There's not a lot of activity. Football, no. There's not a lot of sports that, like, everyone can be involved in. So bowling, Walter Ray Williams, bowled with him a few years ago, and, I'm like, holy crap, man. I'm like, I had some friends who are into bowling. I'm into bowl and everything like that. You just bowled with, like, the best bowler ever. And I'm like, I'm watching him bowl, and he's freaking amazing. But I'm like, he doesn't look. Everyone looks the same rolling a damn ball. Everyone looks the same hitting a damn golf ball. But this is where I'm willing to entertain this. So, and Brad Mays, sponsor the show. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, give Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty a call today. So, some guy on Facebook, him and I have gone back and forth before, but some guy on Facebook says elite hand-eye coordination is an elite athletic trait. Okay. I'm more willing to respect that, Brady. I'm sorry, man, but I'm more willing to give the elite hand-eye coordination debate a little more love, I guess, than just saying he could lift 315 pounds, because sumo wrestlers, I don't know how athletic. Let me ask, are sumo wrestlers elite athletes?
What they run that 40 in? Because Jordan Davis looked like a sumo wrestler, but he's out here running the shuttle.
Yeah, I know, they're like, do you want to be Kinner or an elite athlete sumo wrestler? I'm like, look, the only thing good for them for having the confidence to be big and wear a big old sheet thong. I mean, that's elite right there, having the confidence to pull that off. I mean, I won't even come out my towel. I'm like, I don't want people to look at me. I'm like, no, I'm fully dressed.
Do you swim with your t-shirt on?
I have sex with my t-shirt on. I'm sorry. This is getting out of hand. My bad. 518-1410, 518-1410. So some guy says elite hand-eye coordination is an elite athletic trait, period. Classify things however you want. At his peak, he was undoubtedly an elite athlete. Okay. So what I have asked is someone point out to me something that you can look at and say, man, he has that aspect about him physically that nobody else has. I could possibly get down with that. That I could.
That's
Same
fair.
thing with baseball. Same thing with baseball. At the same time, I do not necessarily think so. I'm willing to entertain that. I think this guy earlier in the show said you could drop him in baseball and he'd be elite baseball and tennis player too because of that hand-eye coordination. I can't get down with that because we don't know. We don't know that.
I got my money on Serena.
On Serena, yeah. So
can he move quickly?
But that's the thing. So there you go. That's it.
Baseball, maybe.
Golf, you're standing still, swinging at something that's not moving. Baseball, something's coming at you 100 miles an hour. Some guy, I changed my mind. I'm taking it back. I don't know. But he's right, though. The hand-eye coordination.
See how good that hand-eye coordination when Serena blasts a 100-mile-an-hour tennis ball right back at your face.
Mm-hmm. So I can entertain that. 518-1410. Steve Stetler says all of those named are elite because of superior mental toughness and not necessarily athletic ability. That's one way. That Gumby couldn't stretch that far. Look, being an elite athlete, you have to have some kind of athletic ability in regards to, from your leaping ability to how fast you run, to your agility, to everything. Like, we don't see that in golf. We just don't. The hand-eye coordination, that's why I said, I didn't even come into this debate willing to accept it. Brad Mays was all about that this morning. I dismissed it because I'm a jerk, but I am willing to bring that back into the conversation. I think that is an elite skill set that sometimes you can't even learn that. You can do things to maybe improve at it. Sometimes you either have that or you don't. That's not something that you can lift weight. Anyone can lift weights.
Right.
Not anyone can have great hand-eye coordination.
Right.
For instance, how about Billy Hamilton in baseball? Billy Hamilton was one hell of an athlete. No hand-eye coordination. But see, that's a good example right there. Billy Hamilton was one of the best athletes I've seen. Super athletic. couldn't hit a baseball. Does that mean he's not an elite athlete? Does hitting a baseball make you an elite athlete? Because I don't think you need to be an elite athlete to hit a baseball. So does not
look
hitting
at Big Papi.
So there, man, I'm all over now. I love this debate, though. I love this conversation because I don't think we all have the same.
So what do you think an athlete is? What is your personal definition of an athlete?
I don't have one written out. Hold on. Let me think of how to word this. Because I think here's the deal. I think everyone's right in some capacity. That's why, for once, Kinder's not getting angry because I'm like, no one's making totally wrong. But the only point I'm not willing to accept is, well, you could drop him in baseball and Tiger would be great at baseball. Stop. We can't. Because you want to know what? Michael Jordan might be the greatest athlete of all time. And he wasn't very good at baseball. He's okay at baseball. I mean, he was considering the fact that, let's see, Eugenio Suarez. I mean, put it this way. Put it this way. Michael Jordan's average was like a hair over what? He was hitting 2-something.
250
If David Bell continued to put Eugenio Suarez, 0 for 3 in the lineup every damn day hitting under 200, Michael Jordan would be a leadoff hitter and leading off all 162 games for David Bell. So maybe, I don't know. But yeah, you see my point. I don't know. I'm not a believer of just drop an elite athlete in one sport into another because they're an elite athlete that they'll just, start swimming right away. I don't see that.
I think that elite athletes, they can drop into just about any sport and I won't say excel, but won't make themselves look bad, won't look horrible. Like if you took Deion Sanders and dropped him on a basketball court in his prime, he's going to score points simply because he's faster than everybody. He's like, okay, leak out on a fast break and just outrun somebody for a layup. Like my middle school football coach used to say, his favorite phrase would say, be an athlete. And that didn't mean anything mental. That mean make a play. Use your athleticism. I used to play quarterback, believe it or not. Be an athlete, Washington. Get outside the pocket. Use your legs. Throw it up to Theo, who was our star basketball player on our middle school and high school team, who was already 6'5" in the 8th grade. Be an athlete. Throw it up there. Let him go get it. Be an athlete. So I don't think anything with athleticism has anything to do with your mentals at all. It's all about your physical body and what you can do with your physical body. Like, okay, hand-eye coordination, that's technically a part of your body. Okay, we can have that argument. But when I think of an athlete, I'm thinking running fast, jumping high, getting to point A to point B extremely quickly and things of that nature.
So going down this list, so where did it go? Hold on. I got to find this because this is actually a good counter to the hand-eye coordination. So Tyler Cooney on YouTube says, I'm a carpenter. I can hit a nail in faster than the average man. I guess I'm an elite athlete. But see, there's a good
batter up.
Yeah. Probably not, Tyler. Probably not. But maybe you are. I have no idea. But good for you for hitting the nail on the head perfectly.
I got some projects in the house that you can come on out for.
So there's that. I don't know. It is what this is an interesting debate. I just don't think Tiger Woods is an elite athlete. Elite golfer, yes. But there's nothing you have watched him do in his entire golfing career, unless all of a sudden he got from that hole to that hole in 5 steps. Okay, that's pretty damn impressive. He ran from that hole to that hole in literally 10 seconds. Okay, super. That's really fast. That's super fast. What athletic, super athletic, again, elite? And you keep bringing that up. Elite.
Because I don't think people understand what the term elite means when they're saying, or what Jay Williams is screaming, yeah, he's an elite. Like, no, that's not true. Keyshawn Johnson was an elite athlete in his prime, but elite athlete? Come on, man. What proof do we have to say he was an elite athlete? Because Tiger Woods has been playing golf since he was on TV as a toddler. I don't know if Tiger Woods has even picked up a basketball before, or football, or ran track, or any of those type of things. You got to show me more than just one sport or doing that one activity for me to call you an elite athlete.
All right, 518-1410. Kev, who we got?
We got Jesse, line 2.
Jesse, how are you, Jesse?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it has been a while. I was just waiting for you to talk about something interesting so I could call in again. And as I always do, I agree with Kenner on this.
Hey, if you're going to start out the call with an insult, I have no problem hanging up on you and making sure it goes. We go another while without hearing from you. I mean, I'm fine with doing that too.
Hey, that does happen every now and again. But I got a unique perspective on this, on this category because I've driven a race car for the last 3 years. I'm far from an elite athlete. I wouldn't even call me an athlete, but the amount of sweat that comes out of my body, the fact that I can't get out of my bed the next day because I'm so sore, and mentally, the fact that if I screw up, I can kill myself or somebody else. It's mentally exhausting. So, athlete by no means, but there's definitely a skill involved, and I think every sport has a little something different
that the other sports don't offer. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And you know what? I think you might be the first person I've talked to that is a driver that will actually say that. So for one, I appreciate that because too, it's, and to be fair, the other reason I also say I get annoyed when people say that, NASCAR drivers are elite athletes. I'm like, well, maybe because I've never been behind the wheel of in NASCAR, so I can't really speak to it exactly, but you're right. There are certain skills that come with driving that fast, that go with controlling a car and everything that goes into being able to maneuver one of those, that yes, there's a skill set that me, Kev, and others will never have or have ever experienced or what have you. But yeah, you saying that, it's the same thing in golf. There's certain skill sets that some of those guys that they elevate at, some of those guys and gals are elite at that others are not or would never be in a position to have to be. So who knows? I can't believe people went at Max this hard. Max does say a lot of questionable things. I say a lot of questionable things, but I was like, this one, it's really not that bad of a take if you just listen to him. But of course, people take the headlines and just say, Max says Tiger's not elite. And then people ran with it. And I'm like, that's not exactly how he worded it. He actually made a lot of sense with how he phrased it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you on the track beside me because you don't know nothing about it. Just like you wouldn't want me as a co-host in there because I'd suck at it. It's.
Well, I mean, apparently we need you, so we have something interesting to talk about. I mean, there you go.
Y'all have a good night.
Adios. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. Continuing to go down to the list. Some guy on Facebook says, you kind of have to separate the words athlete and elite in a sense. Tiger is an athlete, right? And he was an elite golfer for a long time.
Yes.
So in my opinion, that equals elite athlete.
I could do nothing but laugh. Like that was stretching. That's stretching, bro.
I was always saying Gumby couldn't stretch that far.
Getting your yoga on for that one.
So, there's that. Sean Boland said basketball don't work that way, Kev. I don't know. Sean, respond back with and elaborate more to what point Kev made that made you jump on that. I'm confused. So, let's continue going down. Oh, there's Brad Mays. Brad says a lot of talk about combine numbers making you athletic, yet when the draft comes on, everyone says the combine doesn't make you a good player. A good player, yeah. John Ross comes to mind, Brad. Like John Ross is one hell of an athlete. It didn't make him a great football player, right. But I think, I think you do have to be a great athlete to be a great NFL player more times than not. I mean, yes, there's your Tom Brady's of the world and your kickers of the world. But yeah, like I think the combine, I mean, we're watching just people show off their athleticism and their, what level of an athlete are they? And how many times do we not hear about somebody until the combine and then everyone oohs and ahs because, oh my gosh, can you believe how high that guy can jump? Can you believe how fast he can run? Can you believe that 300-pounder can run that fast and jump that high? Now that guy shoots up these draft boards that no one was looking at because of how much of an elite athlete that they are. And then how many guys do we see because their hand size isn't big enough fall down a board, which doesn't always necessarily matter. But I'm just saying my point is we see guys get docked all the time because their 40 speed's not up to par with everybody else. Or, those types of things, or because, oh man, his leaping ability, so, and I'm always laugh at that. I'm like, okay, you're mad because the quarterback can't leap that high. When's the last time you saw him hurdle a line? Like if Joe Burrow could hurdle a line, that would have saved him a lot of trouble over the last couple of years. That's for sure. 518-1410. Kev, who's up next?
AJ, line 4.
AJ, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. Hey, so I heard this take this morning. I was kind of a little taken back about, kind of like you said, Kenner, everyone's freaking out about it. But I think when it comes down to it, it's a lot of semantics. When you start considering just because someone participates in a sport, they're an athlete, right? And if they're at the highest level of their sport, they are elite. But when it comes to actual athletic ability, there's very few sports that require a full on elite athleticism. I do think like NBA players are some of the most elite athletes in the world with the running and the jumping and just the amount of hand-eye coordination that it requires. But I think that's the problem. And I think that's what Max was trying to say is, yeah, he's elite at what he does. But when it comes to actual overall athleticism, there's very few athletes, including NFL players and, MLB players that exemplify elite athleticism.
Yep, and being an elite athlete doesn't make you an elite football player or an elite basketball player, and being an elite basketball player doesn't make you an elite, athlete at that. Like, okay, Tim Duncan, an elite NBA legend, right? Kev, did you ever look at him and say, man, that's the most? In fact, I mean, people would bring up all the time how, man, he's not the most athletic. In fact, you'll never look at him and say that's one of the most athletic bigs ever. Tim Duncan was not athletic. He was an elite NBA player. He was an elite big, but sometimes the best players weren't always elite athletes, and the best athletes aren't always, elite at the particular sport, but at least you could physically see it. We could physically watch Tim Duncan and see it. The sport of golf doesn't put these guys in position for us to know whether they're elite athletes. Like I said, Tiger Woods could be, or could have been back in his prime, as fast as the fastest NFL wide receiver. He could jump as high as an NBA player. Who knows? We don't know, but that's why I'm saying the people, you guys don't know either, so we don't know. So to sit there and say, well, I know he would have been, we can't say that. We can't say that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it actually, I mean, this whole thing, because it's kind of crazy how it went off. It started with Jay Will, asking Max, like, oh, you're saying Tiger Woods isn't an elite athlete? And I think when, if you would like kind of go back and ask Jay Will about it, I think when he was saying elite athlete, it's more like he's elite at his sport. He's elite at the skill set that he has. But overall athleticism, I don't think anyone would argue that Tiger is, an elite athletic phenomenon.
Fair enough. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling. We'll talk later.
See you guys.
518-1410. Who is this, Dickie?
It is.
Dick A, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Justin, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. It's been a while.
Kevin.
Hey.
Yeah, I've been playing that music,
You got to keep busy, man. That's all you can do. Post-retirement life treating you well.
Yes. Hey, Justin, I wanted to ask you, and I want to ask you, Kevin, are you optimistic about the Reds this year of what's happened when Castellini traded all the players?
I mean, I wasn't at first. It was a real kick in the gut. But you know what? After I sat back and started looking at, the chance to get to watch Tyler Stevenson and to hopefully see Nick Senzel healthy, who's been crushing it this spring. Jonathan India coming back to, kind of build off his rookie of the year. There's some, and then Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo and some of these guys. I'm pretty jacked to see what they do being the main guys now instead of being part of a platoon. Like they are the guys now. So we'll see, kind of baptism by fire a little bit. They're being thrown out there. It may not be pretty all the time, but at least I feel like we're building towards something as opposed to just hearing about these guys constantly. Now we get to see them and understand who they are.
I just wondered, do you think they could make, I don't think they'll be first. Do you think they'll end up second or third this year? But you think just time will tell, you think, huh?
I saw, 78 win. The win totals is what Vegas, Caesars has them at. That's going to put them about second or third. I mean, they're going to be right there in the mix of things. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I at least think the team will be competitive enough that we're going to be talking about, oh, man, they're within 3 games. They're within 2 games. They're within a game and a half of a wild card spot. I think they'll at least make it interesting. So that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I just wonder too about the Guardians. Do you think they'll be any good? The former Cleveland Indians, will they be a title, or do you think there's too many problems up there?
I'll let the Guardians fan answer that.
No. No, they will not. They will win about 75 games this year. They have
75 games.
They have 2 bats in the lineup, Jose and Reyes. That's it. That's the only 2 bats in the lineup. Great pitching as usual, but they don't have enough bats. They need at least one more bat. And I mean, I appreciate them signing Jose to a great deal, a friendly deal, to be honest. I was surprised he actually signed that deal. But he's still sticking around. He'll still be an MVP candidate. Yeah. He'll be the reason why they score any runs at all this year. Go Guardians.
Hey, Justin, will you do me a favor?
Let's hear it.
Would you, if they call Jimmy and Doug and Tony, tell them I said hello?
I will do that. We'll be talking to them as we get closer to the draft, so I'll let them know you said hello.
Do they ask about me?
Every time.
Every time, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Dickie, always great hearing from you.
Yeah, have a great day.
Later.
518-1410, a chance to win $1,000. It's our WING Free Agent Funds Cash Contest. I'll have that winning word next.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's time to hop in to Esther Bryce Candies and check out their ready-to-go Easter baskets, or create your own basket with their variety of delicious cream eggs, peanut butter eggs, and huge selection of novelty chocolates. Easter is hopping around the corner, so don't wait and come into any of their locations to get your favorites. Give them a call to place your order for shipments, or shop online at EstherPrice.com.
The homemade goodness everyone likes. There's a whole lot sweeter with fine chocolates from Esther Price.
At the United States Postal Service, we deliver packages fast and affordably so you can give your customers what they want when they need it. We're delivering for one-stop shops, mom and pops, pop-ups, startups, retail, wholesale, large scale, small biz, big box, customers, customizers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/delivering.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. For a limited time, get 0.9% financing on the 22 Honda Pilot, Honda Passport, and Honda HRV, and as low as 1.9% financing on all other 22 Hondas while supplies last. We can get the Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build 22 Hondas every day. See me, sales manager Jason High, for all the details. We're located Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I hope to see you soon.
Tiger Woods is an elite athlete.
It's officially the off season, and just like our favorite sports teams, we here at WING are always focused on taking care of our biggest free agent targets, that being you, of course. Make sure you're listening 12 times a day, weekdays, starting at 6 a.m. for the winning word. And when you hear that winning word, you'll head to wingam.com where you will enter that winning word for your chance to win $1,000. In fact, we already found out today that we already have our first winner of the week, which we're pretty excited about that. And we want you to be the next one. So head to wingam.com right now. It's the WING Free Agent Funds Cash Contest. Enter the word test, T-E-S-T, T-E-S-T. Enter the winning word test at wingam.com. It's the WING Free Agent Funds Cash Contest presented by iWorks Laser and Vision Center. See Dr. Patrick Spencer and upgrade your vision at iWorks Laser and Vision Center today, because at iWorks, it's all about seeing your best. Enter the word test at wingam.com. We're going to talk a little Dayton Dragons baseball coming up to kick off hour number 2. Tom Nichols, the voice of the Dragons, he joins us. Don't go anywhere.
No one should read your personal messages. That's why WhatsApp uses end-to-end encryption. It protects whatever you send before, during, and after you send it. Always message privately. WhatsApp.
From installing a smart garage door opener, to installing a bathroom faucet, to removing a tree, the Home Depot believes you can do anything, especially the things we have how-to guides for. Visit HomeDepot.com for thousands of tips, workshops, and ideas for projects, big and small. The Home Depot app, how doers get more done.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good.
Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Over the last year and a half, we all learned some hard lessons. One of the most important is that you can't put off the inevitable. Hi, this is Mark Davis at Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery and Mausoleums. No matter how hard it is to think about, we all need a final resting place. When pre-planning with your funeral home, please remember that cemetery arrangements must also be made. Call us today at 937-890-1831 or visit our website at DaytonMemorialPark.com. And remember, Dayton Memorial Park is a beautiful place to celebrate life.
WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, welcome back. I'm Justin Kinner, hanging out with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Hour number 2, we are officially off and rolling. Excited to be hanging out with you here on a Wednesday. Speaking of, we talked about baseball a little bit ago. We're going to have opening day tomorrow for, of course, the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds and the Braves, 8 o'clock, the first pitch. 7:15, the pregame begins right here on Dayton's home of the Cincinnati Reds, 1410 Wing AM. And with Reds baseball coming, that means also Dayton Dragons baseball and the Cincinnati Reds, which kick off the season tomorrow night. The Dragons will kick off their season coming up on Friday. And joining us now as we dive into the Dragons season, we have the voice of the Dragons, Tom Nichols. Tom, welcome. How are you, sir?
Thank you, Justin. Thanks for having me. Doing well.
Fine. You know, this is the first time I know with the lockout, it kind of threw a wrinkle into some things as far as kind of pausing the excitement for the season. Although that didn't necessarily impact the minor league level, of course. But this does start to feel like whatever the new normal is. It's starting to feel like normal again. Again, a lot of people going to be at these games. Finally, full stands coming up. I mean, how exciting is it for you as far as heading into this season for what feels like the first normal season in quite some time?
Right, I would agree with you. It does feel like the first normal season in a while since 2019. And we did, of course, play 120 games last year, but we had a month late start to that. So, and we kind of moved into it at 30% stadium capacity, and a lot of things were different at that time, such as for us calling games off of monitors instead of traveling to the road games. A lot of things were different last year, and we're pretty good back to normal this year for the most part, and we're happy about that. And we've got our team here now with us after they worked out in Arizona for the month of March, and the rosters were selected. And that's always for the players a very stressful time because, of course, each player wants to start as high as he can on the ladder in the Red system, or at least have a job of some sort when rosters are announced. And so they're kind of thinking things through, I'm sure, as they go through practice throughout the month of March, and they say, well, there's 5 outfielders here, and I'm one of them. So unless somebody else comes down, I've got a pretty good chance to crack this roster. And then all of a sudden at the end, rosters are announced, and that's it. So you're either there or you're not. And we've got a good group, so we're happy about that.
You talked about that great group. You know, it's interesting. You know, I know a lot of fans kind of got upset with the Reds organization for some of the bigger names that they had kind of moved on from. Unfortunately, Jesse Winker, one of my favorites, the Reds, trading him to Seattle. Of course, they didn't try to re-sign Nick Castellanos, and they move on from Sonny Gray. But after I was a little upset about that, I started like kind of calming down a bit. I'm like, well, I hate rebuilds, and I don't know if this is necessarily a full-on rebuild, but it is. The good part about it is the players that we've had the chance to watch grow up here in Dayton and through the system. Now they're getting their opportunities. The Hunter Greens, the Nick Lodolos of the world, Jonathan India, Rookie of the Year last year, heading into year 2, Tyler Stevenson heading into year 2, but he'll be the primary catcher this year instead of platooning it with Tucker Barnhart last year. So there's that bright side to it, is getting to see those guys that have come up through the system now kind of get their full-on season now coming up. But there's so many top prospects in the Reds minor league system, and a lot of them are playing here in Dayton. Quite a few big names, like obviously, we're going to hear about, De La Cruz coming up. I know you're going to have a lot of great things to say about him, but this Dragons roster, Tom, there's a lot of players that are going to be called up here in the next couple of seasons that I'm excited about, and we get to see them all at once here in Dayton.
Right. I would kind of use the word stacked in terms of prospects on this club. I'm not sure we've had a team quite like it, to be honest with you. Not only do we have quantity in terms of prospects, but we've got a lot of quality. The red system at this point is established with a lot of depth. If you look at, for example, look at prospects 20 through 40, those are guys that a year ago or 2 years ago maybe would have been in the teens on the list. So if you were in the teens and you haven't improved any, you've dropped way off because they brought so many new good players in. And I think back to, it reminds me of a time about 10 years ago when you had a group in the minor leagues, like there was Todd Frazier, Devin Mesoraco, Zach Cozart, Drew Stubbs, Chris Heisey, Chris Valleca, Juan Francisco, Paul Yanish, Justin Turner, all those guys at once, Travis Wood, Jay Bruce and Johnny Cueto had just gotten to the big leagues, Yandra Alonso. I mean, all these guys at one time. And it's sort of like that again now for the first time maybe since then. And you've just got a lot of depth. You've got a really strong you could have a guy that's right now on the list at maybe somewhere around number 20 on the prospect list in the red system. And there's years that guy would have been top 10. So there's just a lot of depth there. We've got, if you look at the MLB pipeline rankings, we've got 6 of the top 17. So we're one farm club, and yet we've got a little more than a third of the top 17. And we're thrilled with that. We've got lots of names, and we can go into as many of them as you'd like. But De La Cruz has gotten a lot of talk. I'm anxious to see him play. You know, other than scouts and a few fans in Daytona, not too many people have seen him play because he played in the Dominican Summer League, and then he played in the Arizona Complex League where they have no fans. And he did get into a few games last summer in Daytona, and that's it. So all the things that you hear about him are based on tools. He did get into the big league games this spring, and his first at bat, he hit a grand slam home run. So can't do any better than that. So we're anxious to see him. He's to play shortstop, even though he's 6'5", and just tools in every area. So we're happy to see him.
You know, and Tom, obviously, you know, back in 2020, the league, they had axed 42 minor league teams, you know, reducing the total number, I believe, of affiliates to 120, I believe, across Major League Baseball. So with that, there are less teams to have these prospects kind of scattered throughout. You mentioned the phrase stacked earlier. I mean, is this something that is going to be kind of more of the norm moving forward because there's less teams to distribute these players through now? Or is this just a rare circumstance? Or is this going to be something that was kind of more common now where we see more elite prospects like this all bunched at one time?
Good question. I think it's more a credit to just the quality of their recent drafts and maybe international signings and some trades also, of course, that brought more young players in. The Reds eliminated 2 clubs, and they were both short season clubs, Billings and Greenville. Let me rephrase that. I want to say the Reds eliminated. Major League Baseball eliminated 2 Reds clubs is a better, more accurate way to say it. And those 2 clubs were short season clubs, so they would have had younger players. I think one of the changes, Justin, that you probably are seeing with the elimination of the 42 teams is that you're going to see fewer high school players drafted and more college players drafted. So you should see players who are further along in their development closer to the big leagues, and they just don't have the places to develop the 18 and 19-year-olds as they had previously, where they had 3 farm clubs at the short season level, leagues that didn't start until middle of June, and all those players that would have gone there, for the most part, were going to be 18 to 21 years old. So 2 out of 3 were cut, So it just doesn't leave you places to develop an 18-year-old. And so that being the case, in the draft, you're going to be looking at more college-level players who are closer to being able to join a full-season team. We're high A now. Of course, we were low A for years and years. So the players are going to go, if they're drafted, oftentimes to Daytona, which is now the low A club, and then if they play well there, move on up to Dayton. And we've got a number of draft picks from last summer on our roster, guys that came out of good college programs. But I think the Reds, just if you look at the last couple of drafts, 3 drafts, and also some good international signings like a De La Cruz or an Alan Cerda. And then again, trades. They've added some players. One that we have is going to be our opening night starter, Connor Phillips, who is the player to be named later in the Jesse Winker deal. He'll start for us on Friday night.
Nice.
So they've added talent and they've drafted well. And they've also signed some undrafted free agents, which is a whole other story. Guys that just were totally passed over in the draft and have sort of emerged. And some credit goes to scouts in the Red system for finding those diamonds in the rough. And some of them were found, if you've heard some of the stories, they found Vin Timpanelli, a hard-throwing reliever in an adult men's league in New York, playing there after his career had ended at a Division III college school where he'd been a catcher. Now he's a pitcher after playing in a men's league. So, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And that's a credit to the scout who had some contacts in that area and found the guy that was throwing 96, 97 miles an hour, said, hey, do you want a chance to play pro ball? And he took it.
All right, we have the voice of the Dayton Dragons, Tom Nichols, hanging out with us here today on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. You know, one thing, Tom, I didn't even think of it like that, but you bring up a good point. Just with the fact that with 2 minor league teams, being taken out of each farm system for these clubs, there's less room to be able to take some of these high school players. And at times, it's like some of these teams are overthinking the draft. Or like, man, they really like this high school player, and they need to take him now before somebody else does, even if it means passing up on a ready college player. But you look at the Reds farm system and you look at some of the Reds recent players that have been called up, obviously, Nick Lodolo, a college guy, but also like, when you look at some of the guys that were like Jonathan India, Nick Senzel, guys that they drafted right out of college, they were a lot closer to being ready to be called up. That's going to make baseball across the board better, right? I mean, less high schoolers and more close to being MLB-ready talent is going to be good for baseball because you're getting that younger, fresher talent pushed through the pipeline quicker.
I agree. And, there's still, the real blue chip high school player is still going to be drafted. The Hunter Green type guy, the Jay Bruce, Homer Bailey, guys that are absolute standouts. It's the player that you're taking bigger chance on that maybe has further to go. It's going to require a lot more development. You just don't have as many farm clubs. And you look at the draft to make the point. You look at the Reds draft in 2021, okay? They got 20 draft. There were 20 rounds. I think they had an extra pick, so they took 21 players. Of those 21 players, a grand total of 1 player was a high school pick. That was their second pick, Jay Allen, center fielder, a high school player that is actually far enough along that they're going to put him at Daytona, which is, for a high school kid, that's a big step. But they feel like he's a blue chipper. He can make that step to Daytona low A in his first full year. Not many can do that. And so I do think you'll still see those cream of the crop type high school players drafted. But once you get past the second round, and if he isn't one of the top, 50, 60, 70 players in the country, the teams may just not be as likely to take that guy, let him go on to college. And then at the end of his junior year, he could be drafted. The Reds also took quite a few junior college players between rounds 10 and 20. And that's another good place to find talent. You've seen guys come out of strong junior. I mean, Roger Clemens was an example over the years. You've seen guys come out of some of the traditionally strong junior college programs, and they will make their name. We'll see those. In fact, a name I just mentioned a minute ago, Connor Phillips, will be our opening night starter. Seattle took him as a junior college player in the second round in 2020 out of McLennan Community College in Texas. And again, he was the player to be named later in the Winker deal. So that's a guy probably not as advanced as I'll give you a good contrast, would be our Sunday starter, Andrew Abbott, who played 3 years at the University of Virginia in a good college program, good conference, the ACC, led the conference in strikeouts last spring, I should say. And so he's built up some innings. So that's a guy that's polished. ACC 3-year player, all-conference, second-team All-American. But this kid, Phillips, out of the junior college program, throws really hard, up to 98 miles an hour, and has got probably some things to work on. So he's a couple of years behind where Abbott would be.
Dayton Dragons, voice of the Dayton Dragons, Tom Nichols with us here. Tom, last thing on the way out, obviously fans going to be flooding the ballpark this weekend for the Dragons, which I'm excited about. I can't wait. In fact, we're going to be there this weekend. So here's the thing with baseball's going to look a little different every year. There's some new tweaks to some of the rules, but there's the pitch clock, new league rules coming up in 22, of course. One that caught my attention the most, of course, we've been waiting for the shift, the ban of the shift, and but the bigger bases, Tom, of course, will catch people's attention. But one that I'm a big fan of, because everyone hates change and hates new rules, but the limiting the number of unsuccessful pickoff throws by a pitcher. Like I hate that. I can't stand when you're just trying to get into the game and every 2 seconds they're trying to pick them off. I found that one to be an interesting one too, that I was not aware of until you sent out your release a little bit ago today.
Yeah, you've got. I didn't even remember sending that out, to be honest with you, but I guess I did. There are four main rule changes. And you just touched on all of them. The rule requiring 2 infielders on each side of the diamond, and they all have to be on the infield dirt. Can't play 3 on the right for a left-hand hitter with 1 guy out in shallow right field anymore. Pitch clock, 14 seconds if nobody on base, 18 seconds if there's a runner on base. A little bit bigger bases. Don't know how much of a factor that'll be, but you look at a game and sometimes you see that slow-mo replay and a guy's out by an inch or 2 inches on a close play at first base. Will the bigger base, will have an impact on an occasional play here and there, and then the pickoff throws. You get 2. The third one, if you don't pick the guy off, he goes on to the next base, so there won't be a third throw unless the guy falls down, or something, and you got him. But otherwise, there can't be a third throw unless you're 100% sure you're going to get the guy out, because you're just basically moving him on to the next base. And those are the 4 changes in our league. Some of the leagues have incorporated robot umpires, and that's something I think that's got some work ahead, because the people I've talked to in the leagues that have done that have told me it's not as accurate as you would hope. And they have made some adjustments to try to get it better, but you saw just huge walk totals in the league that used that last year, which is the Florida State League. Last year known as the Low A Southeast League, but it's back to being the Florida State League. And now they used it, and they had huge walk totals because the automated strike zone was just not calling pitches strikes that we typically over the years have thought of as strikes. And hitters figured that out, and they just stopped swinging. And that's, of course, the worst thing can happen if you're a fan is less action, more pitches not being swung at, more pitches per at bat not put in play. Those are all the things that the game's trying to get away from right now, wisely so, I think, and get more action into the game so that as you sit there, there's a higher percentage of pitches that actually result in balls put in play than just going 6, 8, 10 pitches per at bat before a ball is either put in play, or worse yet, the at bat ends without a ball put in play, a walk or a strikeout. So those are the things the game's trying to get away from and try to get more activity back in.
All right, the voice of the Dayton Dragons, Tom Nichols, awesome enough to hang out with us here today on a Wednesday. The Dragons kick off the season Friday night, 7:05 at Day Air Ballpark. Tom, thank you so much. It won't be the last time we chat. We're going to have you on more regular throughout the season. Of course, we're excited. A ton of great prospects for the Reds, and we're spoiled here in Dayton to have the Dragons, and I can't wait to see that ballpark full once again. And the season kicks off this Friday. Tom, thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, more of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Need legal help? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Have you heard about our new help center? It's located at the Montgomery County Courthouse, providing legal information and forms. And we also share programs and resources that may be available to you. Let us help you navigate the court system. Visit us online at courthouse2u.com for more info.
Is your prostate waking you up more often than your alarm clock? The fact is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostate1perday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The original green cleaner. Spring is here, which means it's time to wash away the dirt and grime of winter. Trust Simple Green to get the job done right for your home, yard, office, or garage. Learn more at simplegreen.com.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers, a high near 58. Tonight's going to be mostly cloudy, a low near 40. And tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a high near 55. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
The original green cleaner. Spring is here, which means it's time to wash away the dirt and grime of winter. Trust Simple Green to get the job done right for your home, yard, office, or garage. Learn more at simplegreen.com.
Hey, you! Ever wanted to learn a language like French or Spanish or even Norwegian, but thought it'd be too difficult or time-consuming? Then try Babbel. Quick 10-minute lessons.
Siesta.
Fábula. Games, podcasts, even live online classes with a real teacher.
Hola, clase.
In no time, chatting about real-life topics will feel, well, effortless. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Circle up, team. We've got status.
Evelyn's marketing consultancy client roster is skyrocketing.
Okay, so this week is a biggie. We've got the pitch and 3 client meetings.
She needs another analyst before her team's free time plummets.
Who's running the competitive analysis on fruit snacks?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you turn 65 this year, you are eligible for Medicare. To help you understand your choices and possibility of financial assistance, the Ohio Department of Insurance is holding Welcome to Medicare events across the state. So join us at a free event near you. Make sure your plan suits your budget and your needs. For more information, contact the Ohio Department of Insurance at 1-800-686-1578 or go online at insurance.ohio.gov.
Attention, paying top dollar buying all junk cars. Junk cars are us. 937-542-1686. Serving Dayton, Middletown, Columbus, Springfield, Urbana, Richmond, and Sydney. Attention, paying top dollar buying all junk cars. Junk cars are us. 937-542-1686. Attention, junk cars are us. 937-542-1686.
Longer days, warmer weather. This is a time of year you need to be enjoying life without joint pain. Hey, it's Keith Byers. Time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people here and all over America get real, lasting pain relief. They use highly concentrated, cutting-edge, natural biologic treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, getting to the root of the pain. It's life-changing. You can get back to moving like you used to with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. If you have a nagging pain in your knees, hips, and shoulders, or back, and you're done with steroids and pain meds, call QC Kinetics. And if they're telling you surgery is your next option, don't do it. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation and free second opinion. Learn more about these amazing natural biologic treatments. Enjoy this time of year doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Big thanks to the voice of the Dragons, Tom Nichols, taking time and hanging out with us here. The Dragons start their season on Friday night, 7:05, the first pitch at Day Air Ballpark. The Reds opening day tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, the first pitch, and they'll be going up against the Atlanta Braves as they kick off the season on the road for a 4-game series. The Reds' first home series of the season will begin next Wednesday as they welcome in the Cleveland Guardians, and we'll talk a little Guardians coming up around the corner as well. They finally made a splash today with a huge extension, and I'll tell you why some fans still aren't very pleased with that. Not the signing itself, but this whole see, we are spending money thing, almost like the Guardians are wanting this pat on the back for doing something that, well, they should have been doing already, as well as bringing other guys in. But we'll get to all that. Excited on the other side of the break. We're going to bring on the Cincinnati Bengals reporter, Jay Morrison. We're going to chat with him. So Kev and I, we've kind of touched on this over the last week about what this Deshaun Watson deal means for the Bengals in the future, because we're watching the Ravens kind of go through, some hoops a little bit when it comes to getting a deal done with Lamar Jackson. Can we see the same thing happen with the Bengals and Joe Burrow a year from now? As usually after that third season is when some of the higher end quarterbacks really start kicking the tires on putting the pressure on the organizations to get a deal done. So we'll talk about that with Jay Morrison, as well as all the different mock drafts that are floating around out there, what the Bengals should do with their late round draft picks. It's kind of rare back-to-back seasons, or at least a season where we're not talking about the Bengals in the top 10 or, even in the middle of the draft, all the way at the back of the pack with all the good teams. So we'll talk about that with Jay Morrison, covers the Bengals for The Athletic. He joins us next.
KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings for second shift production associates and equipment technicians. KTH promotes from within, offers an attractive benefit package, including medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage, starting at $19 per hour with annual increases and shift differential. KTH will be hosting walk-in interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Please bring a resume and photo ID to apply or see other career opportunities at kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
Welcome to Allstate, where saving on your auto insurance is kind of like a joyride. You, your car, and an open road. Maybe your best friend, too. The music is chill, and so is the traffic. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Call me, Dave Mowdy, at 325-2474. That's 325-2474. Right across the street from Frisch's on East Main Street in Springfield. Based on coverage selected, savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Mary had a little gnat, little gnat, little gnat. Mary had a little gnat that flew around her home. Everywhere a Zevo glows, Zevo glows, Zevo glows, and everywhere a Zevo glows, the gnat was sure to go.
Zevo traps use blue and UV light, not odors or chemical insecticides, to attract and trap flying insects. Just plug it in and trap bugs around the clock. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly. Now at a store near you.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending Ooma and their all-in-one phone, video, and collaboration solution.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
HGTV's Build It Forward in collab with Lowe's and 100 hometowns. We'll select 5 local heroes for a surprise home renovation of their dreams. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern on HGTV and Discovery Plus.
It's time to upgrade your vision at iWorks Laser and Vision Center with Dr. Patrick Spencer and get $1,000 off. They offer the most advanced surgical and laser options for your best vision. Whether you want the latest premium lens for your cataract surgery or the best all-laser LASIK treatment, visit iWorksLVC.com and upgrade your vision with $1,000 off. Call 937-226-7870 and get your best vision for less at iWorksLVC.com, because at iWorks, it's all about seeing your best.
Unlock your best lawn yet with the most innovative zero-turn mowers, lawn tractors, walk-behind mowers, and more at your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer, East Lawn and Garden. Like the Cub Cadet Ultima Series, zero-turn mowers that are engineered to give you next-level comfort and premium cut quality. All supported by genuine parts, accessories, and trained service technicians you'll only find at your local dealer, so you can love to lawn for years to come. For expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers, visit East Lawn and Garden at 1632 East US Highway 36 in Urbana today.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER, and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Tiger Woods is an elite.
And we are back. I'm Justin Kinner alongside Kev Nash. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Coming at you live on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Cincinnati Reds kick off the season tomorrow night, of course, as they are on the road. Again, a very weird start to the season, thanks to the delay to the season, due, of course, to the 99-day lockout that Major League Baseball owners put against the players, of course. And we all know the drama-filled negotiations that just really started pitting fans against owners, players, against the sport itself. And, well, now we finally get to enjoy opening day tomorrow night right here on Dayton's home of the Cincinnati Reds, 1410 Wing AM. Reds Braves, 8 o'clock first pitch, 7:15 coverage begins. But let's I know I should overhype the team that we carry, but let's talk about the actual good team in Cincinnati, shall we? Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. And joining us now, Jay Morrison, covers the Bengals for The Athletic. Jay, welcome. It's been a while. How are you, sir?
It hurt you to call them a good team, didn't it?
No, I've always told people, I'm like, listen, when they had 6 wins in 2 years, and I was like, and I'm crazy for saying that they weren't good. I mean, they won 6 games in 2 years. I've always said when they started winning, I would have no choice. I'm not as unfair as people think, but yes, they are pretty good. They are pretty good. So there's that, but Deshaun Watson's here now, and now it's just going to make things real interesting. So we'll see. But Jay, we appreciate you taking time and hanging out with us. And yes, it did pain me to say that, because the Bengals are good, and they're not just good. I mean, they were in the Super Bowl last season, and now they're in a spot that they're not used to being in. Not just the Super Bowl, but at the back of the draft. It's kind of boring. I mean, your job is usually fun this time of year. Usually this is the time of year where you really make a name for yourself, right, Jay? It's kind of boring talking about the scrap players at the bottom of the first round, right?
I'm usually on mock draft 8.0 by now. And my first mock draft came out on Monday. So I don't mind that part of it. It's been a very short, truncated offseason. It feels like we've hardly been able to catch our breath. I wouldn't say it's boring. It's interesting. It really, last year it came down to two guys, was it Sewell or Chase. Now at 31, it's every option's on the table. I mean, they're not going to go quarterback, obviously, but there are so many different directions they could go. I think that's what makes it interesting to see, because that was part of my mock draft exercises. I think they're going to go cornerback in the first round, but Paul Dehner, when he did his draft, he had him taking a corner. I didn't want to follow that same path, so I tried to see what it would look like if they went O-line with 31. And it's hard. They still have some needs they need to address, and you have to prioritize them, because I don't think it's going to be best player available. I think they have to start looking down the road. They're going to be paying Joe Burrow $50 million a year next year and a bunch of other big contracts. They need to hit this draft hard and get some guys that can be quality starters for the next 2, 3, 4 years on their rookie deals.
In your latest mock draft, I mean, what position do you have them going at 31? Because a couple I've seen, and I don't even know how far down you have Tyler Linderbaum falling. I mean, as every mock draft has come out, I've seen this kid kind of drop a little bit more and more. The center out of Iowa, Tyler Linderbaum is the one I've seen most recently from on the ESPN side of things. Obviously, you don't give a rip about ESPN because you're the Athletic. So where do you have the Bengals going at number 31?
Yeah, now everyone, I ran a bunch of simulations, and Linderbaum was gone in most of them, so I didn't go. I think if he's there, he's the guy. That would be the pick. Will he be there? Who knows? The more you hear, not just from these mock simulators, but from actual people that kind of know what other teams are thinking, it sounds like he could still fall that far. I went with Green, the guard from Texas A&M. I just think even with all they did good signing 3 starters on the offensive line in free agency, you still have that. It's either a gaping hole or it's a giant question mark, however you want to look at it. But left guard, they have a lot of faith in Jackson Carman, but a lot of it isn't based on physical skills. It's about his ability to mature and become a pro. And I don't know that you can bank on that. They're hoping that he kind of wins that job and takes it over this year, and he's entrenched for years to come. But after what they saw last year, you can't bank on that. So why not get one more quality body to throw at that and just really have a wide open competition in training camp, and best man wins? You can have 4 really good offensive linemen and then one big hole, and all of a sudden that's not a good offensive line.
You talked about some of the big contracts coming up for the Bengals, and you look at the Stephon Diggs deal that was made earlier today, the Deshaun Watson deal that totally changed things in the NFL across the board for how the NFL or for how the quarterback position is going to be handled moving forward with the fully guaranteed contract. If Deshaun Watson is getting $230 guaranteed, what's Joe Burrow going to get as he continues to ascend and continues to improve year in and year out? So you see Stephon Diggs, and you just see this wide receiver position, the money just continuing to go up and up and up at that. I mean, so you look at Joe Burrow coming up, and then obviously Jamar Chase, only a rookie, or is heading into his second year, but T. Higgins is going to be due for some big change coming up. It's obvious the money's going to be pumped into Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and then they have a lot of decisions to make. Is this why we're seeing the Bengals drag their feet when it comes to Jesse Bates, Jay? What exactly is going on with that? And I've thrown out before that if you look at some of the top teams contending at the Super Bowl every year, I started pulling where they've been kind of putting their money. Not a lot of it's in that safety position. It's not that they don't value Jesse Bates, but is it that they don't financially value that position to be able to commit to him long term? Do you see that being why maybe they're dragging their feet when it comes to Bates?
I think part of it is just they're so far apart. Jesse Bates wants to be paid as the top safety in the league, and that's a big ask, because you're right. It's not a premium position. Is he worth it? Maybe. The way he played in the postseason last year, he played much better in the postseason than he did in the regular season, and he was a big reason for that run. But yeah, it's coming down to how he wants a lot more per year than the Bengals are willing to pay, and they want a lot of it in guaranteed money, and that's not the way the Bengals typically do business. I was still optimistic before the combine, but after the combine, and then now, especially after free agency, I think this is going to be it. I think this is going to be Jesse's last year in stripes. They certainly would love to have him back, but you do have to keep looking ahead, and it's not just Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, it's Logan Wilson too. And there's going to be more. There's guys coming up that they had a really good draft in 2020 that they're going to have to pay those guys next off season. So as much as they like Jesse, as much as Jesse likes it here, it feels like a business decision where they're going to have to part ways at the end of this season.
Obviously, Lyle Collins was the big splash free agent addition to the team and everything like that. So much that people were hearing that he was leaving town, but the Cincinnati Bengals didn't let him leave town before he signed that contract. What other moves out there free agent wise can the Cincinnati Bengals make?
Yeah, I think they're about done. People look at what it says they have under the cap, but the way the Bengals have always done this, they allocate money for injury contingencies and for the draft picks and all this other stuff. And you look at how they do their books, they are about done. I still think they're going to bring back Kevin Huber to compete with Drew Chrisman as a punter, and I do think Trey Flowers, who played a pretty substantial role for them as kind of that extra that hybrid cornerback and safety. I think he's looking to get starter money because he was a starter in Seattle before he came to Cincinnati. I think the Bengals are willing to go there. If he's still out there and his market's not going where he wants it to be, I think they will re-sign him. And maybe one of those veteran corners. But there's still a lot of those guys out there. They're on the wrong side of 30, but the fact that they're all still out there, that market could really crater. And if they could bring in a guy in May like they did with Eli Apple last year for just $1 million or $2 million, I could see them doing something like that. But no more splashes coming. They're pretty much done as far as free agency goes.
So I joked last week because people are used to me piling on the Bengals, but I said, look, if the Bengals have the worst draft in the history of the franchise coming up, they're still going to get an A+ for me for their offseason moves because they did exactly what they needed to. I felt they needed to put more emphasis on it last year, but obviously they made sure that they addressed the protection of Joe Burrow and free agency, and they wasted no time doing it. So if they are done making moves outside of the picks that they're going to select coming up in the draft, I think that the moves that they have made are great for what the Bengals' deficiencies were last year, but that's compared, everyone just assumes that, well, they were in the Super Bowl last year and they would have won if they just had a split second more time to protect Joe Burrow. Everyone could still picture Jamar Chase wide open up that sideline to win the Super Bowl. But the point I keep trying to make is yes, that's what the team needed last year to maybe complete the deal. But the AFC, it's just it was good last year. It's a completely different animal this year. Did they make it? They made enough moves to, of course, protect Joe Burrow, but do you think they've made enough moves to, keep pace with where they were at last year and keep pace with how much some of the other top teams in the AFC have improved, especially in the division? Browns and Ravens were good last year until injuries. Now they're healthy, and now one has an elite quarterback, and the Ravens will get the running backs back, and they're going to add some receivers. Is there any concern at all that maybe they haven't made enough moves to get back to where they were last year in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, there is. I mean, that's a huge question. They did do a good job, and not just the guys they signed, but the way they played the Collins thing. They didn't panic. They didn't trade for him and give up a 4th-round pick. They thought that he would get released and that they would be able to pounce, and they did. So everything's gone right, but this AFC is so loaded now, and they're not going to go through this year as healthy as they did last year. They were really blessed last year. They had very few starters miss games due to injury. That it's just going to come back the other way this year. They're going to have to deal with that. And while they have a good starting lineup, I don't know that they have a great depth roster as of yet. And it's just you look at it, you look through history, the team that loses the Super Bowl really struggles the following year. There's just something about getting that close and losing it, and it's just hard to climb that hill again. So that's something they're going to have to fight through. And the whole harder schedule thing. Their schedule was not that tough last year, and it gets a whole lot harder this year now playing a first place schedule. So there's a lot of things working against them. And let's not forget, that was a magical run. I mean, everything went their way in the postseason, and can you replicate that again? It's just the odds are stacked against them that they're going to be able to get back, but at least they're in the game. They've got a starting lineup and maybe an improving roster too that's good enough, but you're right. You look at that AFC and it's crazy how loaded it is this year. It's going to be fun to watch.
What was your first reaction to the Deshaun Watson contract?
I was stunned that they would give that much guaranteed money to him. And I don't know. I talked to Katie Blackburn about this when we were down at the owners' meetings last week, and what kind of ripple effect that's going to have, because now is that every quarterback going to want that kind of guaranteed money, and the Bengals don't like giving out guaranteed money, period, let alone $230 million. Or maybe Joe Burrow does the Tom Brady thing, and he's smart enough to know that, hey, if I want to win Super Bowls every year, I can't be making $50 million a year. And maybe he it's not a hometown discount, but he spreads it out and backloads it more and has more of a team-friendly deal so they can keep pieces around him. It's going to be a really fascinating negotiation next offseason. But yeah, this year when the Deshaun Watson thing happened, I was stunned that they gave him that much money, because who knows? I mean, obviously they backloaded it, but he may not play that much this year.
Yeah, we get a lot of calls and people saying Joe Burrow, he loves his team. He loves his franchise. He wants to win and everything like that. From everything that you know about Joe Burrow, where do you gauge his personality in this whole money thing? Because, from the outside looking in, we could just make up a billion and one things. Like me and Kenner's perspective is, hey, man, a lot of these athletes take as much money as they can get because they have a short life expectancy to play this game. And then people always point to Tom Brady and everything like that. But not everybody has a supermodel wife who's worth over $1 billion.
Exactly. That's the thing. And I don't, it's hard to speak for Joe Burrow because I've still never talked to the man one-on-one with COVID, and we can't get in the locker room. But May 2nd, finally, we get in the locker room. I'm looking forward to actually shaking his hand and introducing myself in person for the first time. As crazy as that sounds, as he's been on the team for 2 years. But, obviously you can tell winning is the number one priority for him, but still it's not going to be a hometown discount. It's not going to be anything along those lines, but there's a balance there of having more of a team-friendly deal where you can keep the pieces around you and still get your money on the back end of the deal. The Bengals don't like to do that, so there's going to be some butting heads, but I'd be stunned. They've done this before. They made Carson the highest paid player in the league. They gave Andy Dalton, I think he was top 4 or 5 when they gave him his first huge deal. I think Boomer was even the highest paid quarterback in the league at one point. This franchise is not afraid to pay quarterbacks, so it's going to get done next year. It's just going to be really interesting to see the ins and outs of the contract and how it's structured.
Yeah, and it's funny because what my counter to that always is like when callers call in and say, well, Joe Burrow loves this team, he's going to take less money. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine that you think that. But if you think that and he does take every dime that he is available to him, does that make him a bad guy? I'm here to say no. I know I'm one to find every reason I can to twist it here or there, make a pretzel out of it. But no, Joe Burrow should get every dime that is in his space, because in that first contract for him, that could be like we're seeing it with some of the older quarterbacks, maybe not Aaron Rodgers, but you get your big contracts up front. And then if you want to take a team-friendly deal on the back end as you realize your career's winding down and, oh, man, maybe I need to take less money so I can get one more on my way out or something. But I don't know what to make of that. So, and I agree with you, the organization. Last week, I was actually arguing with Bengals fans defending the Bengals. I've never really viewed that. I know the perception is they're very cheap, Jay, that they're a cheap organization. I'm like, I've never viewed them as cheap. I mean, they spend money. I don't think they spend money in the most intelligent of ways at times, but they're willing to spend the money. I mean, they spent $250 million coming into this offseason over the last 2. They're willing to spend it. Have they spent it well? I mean, they were just in a Super Bowl last year. But let me ask you, I have confidence, and this is the last thing, and we will let you go. We appreciate you giving us time. I'm confident that they're willing to spend money on the quarterback position, but you kind of alluded to it a little bit ago with the guaranteed money aspect of it. If Joe Burrow, even if he comes in and says, look, I'm not going to ask for 230, but I want 200 fully guaranteed, it's the guaranteed aspect that's going to make this interesting as far as how aggressive Burrow is going to be in the negotiation process of this. And the second thing you said that caught my attention, which I agree with, usually after year 3 is when these QBs start putting the pressure on the organizations to get a deal done. Are we talking a fully guaranteed deal? I mean, could that be the hiccup? And I know you've touched on it lightly, but that's where I see this really getting dicey, is the guaranteed aspect of it. The organization's never been about it. That's why they might lose Jesse Bates. I'm not saying they're willing to let Joe Burrow go over guaranteed money, but it could lead to some ugly holdouts maybe, or maybe a tag or what. I don't know. I'm very curious to see where this goes.
Yeah, I am too. I think they'll get it done. I don't think it'll be super contentious. They'll find a way. It's kind of, ever since Joe Burrow's gotten here, it's kind of gone out the window. Well, that's not how the Bengals do things. It's turned into what Joe wants, Joe gets. I mean, they're talking about building an indoor facility. They're spending big dollars in free agency on interior offensive linemen. They're doing all these things that they they have never done before. They listen to Joe Burrow, and it's not like he's running the team, but they very much take into account what he's thinking and what he wants. And I don't think you're going to see the 230 or over that guaranteed, but I do think you're going to see way more guaranteed money than they've ever given a player before. That's how important he is to this franchise and how important they view him as getting that done next offseason and getting that behind them.
Well, I guarantee you this, the front office of the Chargers and the Bengals, it's a race to get their quarterback a deal. I tell you that much, because it's one thing to look at Deshaun Watson's deal and say, okay, maybe that's not the precedent moving forward. But if the Chargers do a similar deal as Deshaun in Cleveland, now all of a sudden that's the trend. And that's where I would really start to worry. I think that the next team, if I'm the Bengals, I want to get this deal done as fast as possible before the trend is that type of deal getting done more consistently. But we shall see. Jay Morrison covers the Bengals for The Athletic. Jay, thanks so much. Great hearing from you.
All right, good talking to you guys.
All right, Jay Morrison covers the Bengals for The Athletic. Good stuff from him. Lots to dive into as we dissect some things that he said that really caught my attention. So Deshaun Watson gets $230 million guaranteed. Jay doesn't believe that that's what Joe Burrow will get in Cincinnati. If he's right, you fans are lucky. If he's right, you fans are lucky. And we'll discuss next.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
I'm Terry Krupp of Laird's Tax and Accounting, serving this area's tax and accounting needs for over 80 years. If you have concerns about your tax return, we invite you to discover how we can make your tax filing experience easier. If you had a difficult experience in the past, our professional staff can provide the accurate return you want with maximum use of all legitimate deductions. Laird's Tax and Accounting is a trusted name and stands behind your return if the IRS calls. Contact us at 937-325-6571. Information at lairdstax.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter.com/find.
Attention, paying top dollar buying all junk cars. Junk cars are us. 937-542-1686. Serving Dayton, Middletown, Columbus, Springfield, Urbana, Richmond, and Sydney. Attention, paying top dollar buying all junk cars. Junk cars are us. 937-542-1686. Attention, junk cars are us. 937-542-1686.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy a free drink with purchase of a new Chef's Chicken sandwich. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/online code.
Want to find out what handheld perfection tastes like? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken today for a flawless family feast with the 12-piece strips meal at a great price. Get 12 premium tenderloins that are freshly marinated, honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to crispy perfection, along with 3 large sides, 6 fluffy biscuits, and 4 of your favorite Lee sauces. This is dippable chicken done right. Get the best in boneless chicken with the 12-piece strips meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
You make 35,000 decisions every day. Are your gambling decisions good ones? If you struggle with a problem with gambling, call 1-800-589-9966 for free confidential support. Do you have a loved one who struggles with a problem with gambling? This 24/7 helpline also provides resources on how to support a loved one who may need help. Call 1-800-589-9966 or visit beforeyoubet.org.
HGTV's Build It Forward in collab with Lowe's and 100 hometowns. We'll select 5 local heroes for a surprise home renovation of their dreams. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern on HGTV and Discovery Plus.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Big thanks to Jay Morrison, covers the Bengals for The Athletic. Tom Nichols, voice of the Dragons as well. A guest-filled show today, so I appreciate their time and hanging out with us here in this hour. Interesting stuff from Jay Morrison. So Jay was very honest. I like talking with Jay because Jay's adamant. He said it in a less, I guess I have a trolling tone from what I've been told from time to time, but he basically said what I said just in a nicer way, that he basically, you can, and to sum up, the Bengals were lucky last year. To sum up, he said it in a nicer way, but to sum up, everything I said they were lucky last year. You hear that word lucky that has a negative connotation with it, as if I'm saying that they weren't good enough to actually be there. They were lucky. Think about everything that had to go right for the Bengals to get to where they were. Do you think that every chip is going to fall into place like that perfectly next year? What I mean by that is the Browns and Ravens. Do you expect those two? Which, by the way, the Caesars win totals for everyone, all Bengals fans, Kev, tell me, the Bengals are head and shoulders better than the Ravens and Browns, not even close. And I see why you would say that after what you saw last year, demolishing the Ravens. I like to poke fun at the 2 losses to the Browns last year. You did get walloped pretty good by Baker Mayfield's Browns, by the way, in the first one. The last game of the year, I don't care about that. That doesn't count. But the Browns were not good last year, so I understand why you feel like there's a gap, even though they beat you, but there's a gap between the Browns and Bengals. You're ignoring the circumstances that were involved. I would be very surprised if they punched your Steelers in the mouth again twice. Like, I anticipate a split through the division. If Deshaun's playing, the Browns are going to continue beating up on the Bengals the way they have since Baker got into Cleveland, but that's besides the point. Here's the deal. Everything had to go right. The beat up Ravens, the beat up Browns, the aging quarterback Bengals or Steelers. Okay. No injuries on the side of the Bengals. And I'm not talking about tweaks, ankle tweaks here and a hamstring tweak here that kept you out of a game or two. No, I mean like legitimate injuries, missing an entire month, multiple months of a season for major key position groups like the Browns and the Ravens had to deal with. Okay. Those are real injuries, not, Wayne's, Trey Waynes, he missed his entire career in Cincinnati. He wasn't even there to count as one of those guys that missed time out on the field. But you see what I'm saying? Like, he even said it. You made the Super Bowl. No one in their right mind would ever think a quarterback sacked 70 times would be one throw away from getting to the Super Bowl. Do you realize how much had to go right? Do you realize how stacked the quarterback list is in the AFC, and you had to go through Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill to get to Patrick Mahomes, which you beat Patrick Mahomes, but twice. But you got to think back to that when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, and he had to go through Drew Brees. He had to go through Aaron Rodgers. Who did he go through in the title game, Kev? I guess that was Aaron Rodgers. So, and then, of course, to win the Super Bowl, had to beat Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's a quarterback feat right there. That's insane. There's just a lot that has to go right had to go right for the Bengals to get to where they were last year, which is why I asked Kev about the free agent moves that the Bengals have made. There's a lot to feel good about it, yes, but at the same time, those were the needs that the team needed last year. You need to protect Joe Burrow. The rest doesn't count. Nothing matters unless you protect Joe Burrow, which they've done that. But I don't think that defense is better than what the Browns have when healthy. It's not better than the Ravens have when they're completely healthy. I think it's pretty close. But I mentioned the win-loss totals for Caesar Sportsbook a little bit ago, Kev. The Browns, Bengals, Ravens, all 9.5. They're all dead even. They're all at 9.5. There's not a gap between them. They're all relative. They all have really, really, really good quarterbacks. They all have really, really good strengths to their offense. They all have the same, similar deficiencies. They have capable defenses. I think the Ravens have the best defense when completely healthy. I think that the Browns have more weapons defensively, but I do think I was a huge fan of that Bengals defense in the playoffs. Kev, I'm telling you now, if that Bengals defense that showed up in the playoffs is there week one on, no, the Bengals will win that division and they'll be fine. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, my doubts really don't come from the Bengals on the offensive end. I don't think Joe Burrow was as great as people thought during the Super Bowl run. I thought that the defense and the special teams really are what carried them into that position. Is what it is. It's not a shot. It's just the reality of it. If imagine Tom Brady going 7 quarters without throwing a touchdown. Imagine Patrick Mahomes going 7 quarters without throwing a touchdown. I mean, hell, Baker Mayfield threw 3 touchdowns in one game when he played the Steelers years ago. Joe Burrow was fine. He was really good. He wasn't elite, wasn't great. I'm just saying. I don't know, Kev. The Bengals, if he said they're done making moves. If they're done making moves, is that enough to lock a spot in the playoffs? I don't think so. I'm not predicting them to miss the playoffs. I'm not going to go that route again. But I've already predicted that the Chiefs could miss the playoffs and they could win 9 to 10 games. The Bengals can miss the playoffs and win 9 to 10 games. No one's guaranteed a spot in the playoffs next year, which is why I'm surprised at how the Bengals took their foot off the gas. The second they got Collins, it was like, well, we're done. That's what I'm worried about. Could the Super Bowl almost be a bad thing for the Bengals? Because I feel like they took their foot off the gas the second they got their 3-0 linemen. They said, we're good. I don't think you're as set and straight as you think you are. I think that you're going to realize quickly, if the Ravens and Browns are healthy, this isn't 2021.
I think they upgraded exactly where they needed to, without a doubt. Obviously, 3 new starters on the offensive line, but they still have more opportunities to upgrade the team, obviously, with the NFL draft. When you're drafting at 31, you have, I don't want to say a luxury pick because, you still have needs, but guess what? Your needs aren't as much as they were before because now you have an offensive line. You have capable offensive linemen. It's kind of like what we talked about last year, was saying, hey, spend that money in free agency on veteran offensive linemen as opposed to young offensive linemen. And that's exactly what they did this season. So now they have veteran offensive linemen. Now you make these draft picks to supplement, where if it's going to be another cornerback, is it going to be a linebacker, is it going to be another rotational piece on the defensive line, probably a linebacker, probably a DB or that situation. But there's also roster cuts. That's another place where you can upgrade your team after training camp. They go do the roster cuts, and we already know there's going to be some big name out there that gets cut to everybody. Oh, my goodness, so-and-so got cut. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's a 9-time All-Pro. He got cut, yada, yada, yada. Whatever that player is, whatever position they play, is that a position of need for the Cincinnati Bengals? Will they drop the dollars to have them come to their team? Will that player be just saying like, oh, man, I need to try to get another run at a Super Bowl and everything like that? They still have opportunities to upgrade their team. And I get what you're saying. Like, last year's team isn't this year's team. But guess what? Neither is anybody else's. So everybody that upgraded their team, they also have deficiency. This whole NFL thing, people love to look at like, oh, man, the year that Kansas City like went 13-3 and had a high-flying offense and everything like that. Most teams go 9-7. That's like the crux of the league. Like, you talked about the over under, like all those teams right smack dab in the middle of 9-7. Chances are you're either going to be 10-6, 9-7, 8-7, and everything like that. Like, it's a one possession game at basically every game of the season until you get to the back end where teams quote unquote give up and everything like that. Yeah, they could miss the playoffs. Because, I mean, look at the division this past season. They won 10 games, and they only won it, quote, unquote, by, 2 games or a game and a half? You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's razor thin. So, for people that think, like, oh, man, it's a cakewalk to win the division or a cakewalk to get into the playoffs, you know who won't tell you that? the players on the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody inside the Bengals organization will tell you this is not a cakewalk. It's not a foregone conclusion. It's not a foregone conclusion that they're going to make the playoffs, and no foregone conclusion that any team is out there going to make the playoffs or let alone win the division. Look at what happened last year at the very last game of the season. They're playing in Las Vegas for a chance to go to the playoffs. And if it ends in a tie, both teams go to the playoffs. Nobody in a billion years would have predicted that. Nobody.
Crazy scenarios.
It's a ton that goes into this thing, man. And I don't know why we just like get so enamored with like, oh man, this is gonna be a cakewalk. We love to do the schedule game. You'll get your schedule. Like, all right, you notice when people do the schedule game, it's always, yeah, we're going to win 10 games because 10 games is like the magic number. Like, man, 10 games, win the playoffs. 10 games, we definitely in the hunt to go win a Super Bowl. Nobody ever tells their team like, oh, man, we only winning 4 games this year. Everybody sells themselves on winning 10 games.
And keep in mind, Bengals fans, winning 9 games means you lost 7.
Right.
Like, and
this is the NFL, man.
Winning 9 means you lost 7, and losing 7 means you're not as good as you thought you were. I mean, that's a lot of games. That's 2 months worth of games that your team would have lost. And you talk too high. Like, I just think, I mean, I thought Jay was as real as it got when he came on this show a little bit ago. That's why I straight up asked him, was this was enough to improve the deficiencies from last year's team, but last year's team doesn't stack up the way it does with the way that the AFC stacks up this year. I thought that the Browns have improved. I think the Steelers and Browns are the 2 most improved teams in the AFC than the Bengals and Ravens. What if the Ravens done, Kev? What if I know what piece did they add on the defense?
He didn't sign. He ended up going to the Vikings.
And then Wagner, they were going after. Of course, he ended up going to the Rams.
Right.
So that's interesting. There, I think that the Ravens are in a weird spot. I think that the Bengals did what they needed to, most importantly, to protect Joe Burrow, but did they do enough to rise with everyone else? The Browns still have $22 million in cap space to work with. They're still trying to get Fuller. If you have Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, Fuller, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, that offensive line, I mean, yeah, you might have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but I'm still taking the Browns offense over that, assuming Deshaun's not suspended, which doesn't sound like that's going to be the case right now with how long it's going to take for these civil suits to drag out. Deshaun could be an every Sunday starter for the Browns in 2022.
Crazy.
So we'll see what ends up happening there. But Gary Toole says you could say, no, that's his name.
Oh,
jeez.
I thought you were calling him a
crap,
tool.
Kev. I mean, my goodness.
No, I thought you
no
called
way
him that.
to treat our listeners. Gary, I am so sorry. It's okay. Gary and I used to get into it. I'd called him Gary the Tool Jr., but he's just Gary Tool Jr. now. But now you've called him a name.
And me?
You're a bully.
Oh, okay. Spin doctor.
Gary, I was going to read your post, but I want to apologize on behalf of Kev. I said your name and he just starts laughing.
I promise to goodness, all this time I thought you were calling him that.
Oh,
I promise.
His name is Gary Tool.
No, like I thought that you were calling him a tool. Like, sorry, Gary, I didn't know.
Gary, good stuff, man. Hey, so I haven't, Gary, I've read it. I see it. I haven't pulled it into the show. Gary, I apologize for my co-host.
It's just dude.
Listen, I'm not one to berate people. I don't call names.
Oh, okay.
I want to apologize on behalf of Kev Nash, the real bully of the Justin Kinner Show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We'll reconvene. I gotta scold Kev during the break. I gotta tell him how to talk to people. It's really a problem. Now we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Gary Toole. That's.
I promise. I didn't know.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
Refresco, the world's largest independent bottler of beverages, is holding open interviews every Tuesday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at 300 Industry Drive in Carlisle, Ohio. Offers on the spot and a generous hiring bonus depending on position. Excellent pay, work culture, and benefits. Recently increased wages and an annual performance bonus. Located right off I-75 near Austin Landing. Apply today at refresco.com/careers and enter Carlisle in the search field. Don't miss open interviews starting March 29th. Refresco is an equal opportunity employer.
Patients like Heather haven't felt this good in years, thanks to natural biologic treatments from QC Kinetics.
I have really bad arthritis in my right hand and my shoulder. Both would wake me up at night because they would hurt so much. Since I've been going to QC Kinetics and had the treatments, I'm already seeing such a difference. My pain level is just almost gone.
If you have chronic joint pain and are tired of using steroids and drugs and really want to avoid surgery, call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments are giving patients lasting relief.
Oh my gosh, why did I wait? This is so great. Especially the way things have been going these days, things that you took for granted, we haven't had the option to do. And now I want to do them. I want to go out. I want to go for walks. I want to go hang out with my kids. And I don't want to be hurting.
Don't wait. Call now to learn more about regenerative restorative treatments that help your body heal itself. Call QC Kinetics.
937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. QC Kinetics. 937-936-0325.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com. And upgrade today.
If you have a small business, Staples has your sign.
Banners for my bakery?
Staples has your sign.
Oh, posters for my new pet store.
Floor decals for a pharmacy.
Every day, Staples associates help every kind of small business create bold signs to make big impressions. And now get $10 off custom signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. This is your sign, so print it big at Staples. Ends 5/28. Visit staplesconnect.com/thisisyoursign for details.
HGTV's Build It Forward in collab with Lowe's and 100 Hometowns. We'll select 5 local heroes for a surprise home renovation of their dreams. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern on HGTV and Discovery Plus.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers, a high near 58. Tonight's going to be mostly cloudy, a low near 40. And tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a high near 55. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at culletsealcoating.com.
Are you ready? At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. If you're a plumber, roofer, electrician, or remodeler, your business earns back when you spend, gets exclusive offers, and paint rewards. It all adds up to help drive your business. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program today. Minimum purchase required. Earnings and paint rewards awarded as Lowe's e-gift cards. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Valid through 12/31/22. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. U.S. only.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is for
mogul men, ready to hustle for that muscle.
Membership numbers at Sly's Gym have been racking up.
22 people have signed up for 6 a.m. buns of steel.
Now he needs more certified trainers to do all the heavy lifting.
I'm going to have to bulk up my staff.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes, you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Ohio has over 920,000 diabetics. Take a step in the right direction by having your feet checked routinely by a podiatric physician. Podiatrists are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet based on their education, training, and experience. When you add a podiatrist to your healthcare team, he or she can provide you with important information so you're able to better manage the effects of diabetes on your feet. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association members are bound by the highest ethical standards and have access to superior ongoing medical education and resources. Ask if your podiatrist is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the best. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
At the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission, we help veterans and their dependents navigate the process of applying for benefits administered by the VA. We can assist with VA claims, pensions, and a variety of benefits, including emergency financial assistance, transportation, and legal services. If you are a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, a wide range of services may be available to you, always at no cost to the veteran. We are honored and proud to serve all Miami Valley veterans. Contact us today at 937-225-4801.
Want to find out what handheld perfection tastes like? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken today for a flawless family feast with the 12-piece strips meal at a great price. Get 12 premium tenderloins that are freshly marinated, honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to crispy perfection, along with 3 large sides, 6 fluffy biscuits, and 4 of your favorite Lee sauces. This is dippable chicken done right. Get the best in boneless chicken with the 12-piece strips meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Is your prostate waking you up more often than your alarm clock? The fact is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostate1perday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy a free drink with purchase of a new Chef's Chicken sandwich. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/online code.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending Ooma and their all-in-one phone, video, and collaboration solution.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma, smart communications for the smarter business.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. With Indeed, you can attract, screen, and interview candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here live on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Kev, Tiger Woods back in the Masters.
Yes, sir.
So earlier, we talked about Max Kellerman's hot take this morning. Max Kellerman said that Tiger Woods is not an elite athlete. And, of course, that's pretty much what we spent our first hour on. Basically coming down to the fact that Tiger Woods is an elite golfer. Is he an elite athlete? Basically, maybe it's not a definitive no, but for those who say it's a definitive yes, you're wrong. There's nothing out there that shows that he's an elite athlete. He's an elite golfer, but what have you ever seen him do? Like, if you go to an NBA game, you'll watch guys, you're like, holy crap, that guy's a freak of nature. That's a freak athlete right there. There's not one golfer in the history of golfers, past, present, or definitely in the future, unless there's some 7'5" super athletic freak of nature out there on the course. There's no one out there. You don't need to be a freak athlete. You don't need to be an elite athlete to be the best golfer in the world. So that's kind of what it came down to. And golf just doesn't display feats of greatness when it comes to athletic ability. You know, guys aren't running or sprinting from one hole to the next. It's not a timed event. All right. It's not as if, oh man, Tiger Woods, there's no other golfer that gets his rounds done quicker than Tiger Woods. No, there's nothing to show an athletic feat as far as that's concerned. That's not a bash at Tiger Woods. I joked with Kev earlier. I said there's two guys I have learned in the history of the world when it comes to sports that you can't even come close to sounding like you're criticizing them. It's Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. Tiger Woods, Max Kellerman this morning, I did not believe was bashing Tiger Woods. He was just like, oh no, he's the most elite golfer ever. He's the best golfer ever. Elite athlete? No, but to be fair, there's not one golfer I'm like, oh, that's an elite athlete right there. So that was the hot golf take of the day. But you want to know my next hot golf take, Kev?
What's up?
Tiger Woods is bad for golf.
Uh-oh.
He's bad for golf.
And remember, first hour we agreed. And
yep.
Not so much anymore.
You're not a wrestling fan, right?
I am not.
Okay. That music right there. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Shout out to Pat McAfee, by the way. Huge fan. Biggest complaint about wrestling is that when they bring these old timers back, like Stone Cold Wrestling over the weekend, I loved it. I'm a huge Stone Cold fan, of course, but there's a lot of people in that world, I want to say in that sport, but in the sports entertainment industry, or the fans, if you will, that by bringing back those old timers, it's a constant reminder of what the product isn't today. Wrestling's not as good today as what it was back then. So then when you bring Stone Cold back, when you hear that, man, that brings you back. You're not a wrestling fan, but for wrestling fans that are listening and you hear the glass shatter, you hear that, man, it takes you back. And you could picture, you could hear, you could feel the pop of the arena when Stone Cold's music hits, when Stone Cold ran out to the ring, The Rock, those guys, the Attitude Era back then, the highest of highs, the Hulk Hogans of the world, right? Wrestling was never better than what it was back then. So then now when they're trying to convince you that the product is just as good, and it's not, the ratings show that, no Stone Cold, no Rock, no Hogan, no greats from the past, the product's not as good. The numbers show it. So I like it when they come back because it's that what's that called? That the feeling you get, the nostalgia. The nostalgia you feel seeing Stone Cold at WrestleMania, the nostalgia you feel. There's nothing like it. But sometimes I find it to be an issue because I'm like, There is no Stone Cold in today's product. So by continuously having to rely on these guys to come back to save the rating, to save the day, to make it relevant again, that's a problem. That's not a good thing. That's not healthy. If you have, like, for instance, the NBA is healthy. The Michael Jordan left. That should not be. It's not a good thing by any means. Don't get me wrong. Okay, it's not good that Michael Jordan left the game, but the game, it's not like it's miserable now. In fact, the NBA ratings are going up. I just saw today that the rating, it went up 13% from last year. Like, the NBA is fine. College basketball just drew the Duke of the national championship game, 2 highest viewed games in a decade. So it's just one of those where, yes, you need your old faces to kind of help prop up the product. But sometimes when I see Stone Cold Steve Austin, when I hear that, I know, oh yeah, wrestling, as good as people think it is today, it's nothing like it used to be. And it's not an old man take. It's legitimate. The numbers show it. The interest level has dropped. These sold out arenas have dropped. Like, that's not a thing. It's not as big as it used to be. So that's kind of like Tiger Woods. I want to tune into the Masters. I want to tune into WrestleMania, and I want to tune into today's stars, and I want those stars to make me feel the way the stars of yesteryear made me feel. But every time Tiger Woods comes back, you know what it is? It's a freaking huge success.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Last year was the least watched Masters ever. The year before, we know what happened with the Masters before that. Of course, it was kind of wonky too because of the COVID situation. But Tiger winning it a few years ago. Let me see. I have this pulled up. So I found this little graph or whatever that kind of shows. So it shows the ratings mark of when Tiger's in contention heading into the last day and when he wins it, of course. 20 million, 18 million, 14 million, 16 million, 17 million. When Tiger's in contention or wins. When he's out of contention or not in the Masters at all, like last year, we're talking, 7 million.
Mm-hmm.
7 million. 11 million. 9 million. 12 million. 13 million. 9 million.
Sound like your bank account.
Take out the million and maybe put a couple zeros after that. I say this because it shows you right there when Tiger's in contention or winning, ratings through the roof. That's great. But here's the deal. Tiger's no longer really a part of the golf world anymore. Tiger is the nostalgic guy that comes back and it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. People are talking about, does Tiger have a shot to win it this weekend? Who cares? I don't care. I want him to win. Don't get me wrong. But what I mean by that is I just want to see him play.
Right.
Did you see the crowd that surrounded him for a practice? It was unbelievable. It gives you chills seeing the pictures of the fans that surround Tiger Woods. So Tiger Woods to me is a walking reminder that golf is no longer interesting. He's a walking reminder. I'm watching WrestleMania this past weekend. I hear the glass break. I see the excitement. I get the goosebumps. I see all the reaction of all the 70,000 fans in attendance. And I'm like, oh yeah, we don't see that anymore. That doesn't happen. That reaction, that's been, bottled up for 19 years since his last match, and you got to see it again. Stone Cold's a walking reminder of wrestling not being the same. I know you people hate wrestling, and that's fine, but it's a legitimate example. I think it's a pretty good example of that's Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is the Stone Cold Steve Austin of golf because Tiger Woods, when Stone Cold shows up, everyone feels like they used to, and then when Stone Cold leaves and you watch wrestling again, you're like, oh, wow, I'm missing that feeling again. This isn't the same. Tiger Woods, you're going to watch this weekend, and it's going to be so damn cool. And it is going to be a nostalgic experience that everyone will love and enjoy. And then if Tiger doesn't perform next year and the year after that, because his health continues to decline, because this was a miracle in itself that he's even able to walk and even be a part of this to begin with, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not 7 million people last year with no Tiger Woods. It's going to probably be back up to that 14, 15 mil. And then if he goes deeper into the weekend, probably up even higher and higher and higher. Kev, your thoughts on that? I don't think it's not as hot of a take as what it sounded at first. Tiger Woods is bad for golf because to me, Tiger Woods is a walking reminder of what golf isn't anymore. Golf is not, it's not a big deal anymore. Like the Masters, we get excited for it. And then when you get to the Masters, like last year, we were jacked for the Masters. And then it started and it was like, okay. Now, to be fair, I can't pronounce the guy's name. I always struggle with it, but he did have like a significant lead. No one really challenged him. That had probably a lot to do with the decline in numbers. But the graph that I have up here shows without Tiger playing or without in contention or winning, everything's under 13 mil. When Tiger's in contention or winning, it's 15 mil tops. So 15 mil plus every time. No doubt about it. That's why I say he's bad for golf. He's great for golf. Don't get me wrong. It's a play off of words a little bit. Like, he's bad for golf because he just reminds you what golf isn't anymore. And it's supposed to be like the NBA. Michael Jordan leaving should have had that same effect on the NBA. Did the numbers skyrocket without him? No. But guess what? More stars are born. You had your AIs, your T-Macs, your Shaqs, your Kobes. All right. And then it went into the LeBrons, and then it went to the Kevin Durants and the James Hardens and the Steph Currys. And now we're handing it off to the Zions, hopefully, maybe one day, but the Ja Morants. Okay. These kids are coming in and they're dominating. And, you look at the Celtics with the young guy. The league just keeps going. The NFL and NBA, it's the two most healthiest sports in the country. No, not even close. Baseball, it's ebbs and flows. And honestly, they've been struggling without stars for decades now. Golf, it's relying on Tiger and Phil. And Phil, still as great as Phil is, doesn't have that Tiger draw. So one more time, Tiger is bad for golf because he's a walking reminder of what golf is not anymore. He is the stone cold of that. For those of you who don't like wrestling, you may not get the reference, but for those of you who are wrestling fans, I would hope that you could respect my analogy there in comparison, because I think it's spot on.
Outside of Tiger Woods, who's the most popular golfer? Brooks Koepka?
No, DeChambeau. Brooks Koepka, yes, but I think the DeChambeau just because of the freaking insane drives, which, by the way, all right, you want to talk about something that happens on a golf course that you don't see from anybody else when we talked about Tiger Woods being an elite athlete? How about DeChambeau? All right, his drive is like that. Happy Gilmore. All right, he's Happy Gilmore. Like that to me is super athleticism right there. Just shows the power of DeChambeau. So that's kind of who I think right there. But I think from a popularity standpoint that kids can gravitate towards and want to be like. I mean, I want to freaking crush that ball. I think him. But Koepka's a popular name. Yeah. But no,
I think a lot of things is as simple
Spieth,
as this.
Ron Howard says Spieth. So
there's a lack of star power. It's just a lack of star power. I mean, outside of the NFL, most TV viewing is down, even for the most popular TV shows out there, even for basketball, with the NBA, the ratings spike when the finals come around. And it also depends on what teams are in the finals. If it's the Suns and Bucks again, I bet you that number isn't as high. You know what I'm saying? But, that number is always going to be high when you have the star of the league in there, be it a LeBron James or a Kevin Durant, so like there's a lack of star power in a lot of sports. You talked about it with baseball, and it definitely is with golf. Tiger Woods is a brand name. Tiger Woods, when you're a guy that transcends stuff, like people don't call the NFL EA Sports game the NFL game. They call it Madden. That transcends things. Tiger Woods transcends everything. Like you point him out in the lineup, everybody and their mom could point him out. You pull up a picture of any of the other top 10 golfers right now, I probably could name 2. You know what I'm saying? But Tiger Woods is just a different animal. And when you have those different type of animals, and you talked about it with wrestling, even though I'm not a wrestling guy, I know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is. I know who The Rock is. I know who, like, the guys that were around when, I kind of jumped in and jumped out of wrestling. I don't watch any wrestling anymore, but I know who
Kev Nash.
I know who Triple H is. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's like guys like that do these sports have those guys that are going to transcend it and make people want to tune in? I don't think so. I don't think golf has that. I know baseball doesn't have that. Baseball is such a regional situation right now. And golf, like, I just can't get into the sport as it is. And now that you don't have a star like that makes me want to tune in. And now also, not only the fact that Tiger Woods is a superstar, like, this is a story. This is a major story. Like, yo, man, he's been battling back injuries. Obviously, everything that happened 10 years ago with the golf club and his wife and everything like that. And now he's had a near-death experience, and now he's coming back to play at the Masters and everything like that. Like, the average person needs a storyline for that hook, and this is the ultimate storyline. Can he pull it off? Can he be in contention? Can he make the cut? Like, there's a million different storylines. The first one is obviously, can he make the cut to play the whole weekend? Then can he be in contention? And then, oh my goodness, get Disney ready, because we're going to write a story about this if he actually wins this mofo. So it's that. And I don't think golf has a ton of those stories that people can get behind.
If you're just joining us, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, the show presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. If you're just joining us, I know I'm going to repeat myself here, but just to rehash real quick, I started out my hot take with Tiger Woods is horrible for golf. He's bad for golf. Now, I'll let you react to that for a second. He's bad for golf because he's so damn great that he's a walking reminder of what golf is no longer. It's not as popular as it used to be from a viewing standpoint. You know, I talked about the ratings that I came across earlier today that really caught my attention. You know, the Tiger Woods effect on golf. I mean, last year, no Tiger Woods in the Masters. And you know what? It drew 7 million. 7 million. The year before, 16 million. When he's in contention, so this chart that I have in front of me, tomorrow's show, I'll make sure I have the graphic up so that everyone can see it that's watching live on Facebook and YouTube. But it's every year that he is in contention or has won, at least 15 million. At least 15 million. At least 15 million. That is insane. That is insane. You take Tiger out, here is 7. Here's 9. Here's 11. Here's 8. Here's 11, 9, 11, 11, 8. 7 was the worst rating last year for the Masters ever. No Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods doesn't have to win it for it to double ratings. Tiger Woods just has to be there. So when Tiger Woods does come around, so you're going to see this number pop this weekend, and everyone's going to feel like golf is back, baby. I mean, look at how many people, sports radio, all about golf, all about the Masters, right? We're going to talk about it. And while some are going to talk about peach ice cream sundaes, everyone else will be talking about Tiger Woods. And then next year we could talk about peach ice cream sundaes, because why? Well, that's all there is. There's no Tiger Woods, y'all. There's just peach ice cream sundaes. And maybe Tiger's back next year too. Who knows? I can't believe he's here this weekend. I can't believe he's here this weekend. They were worried. People were worried he wouldn't even be able to walk again. This is pretty damn fascinating. So I said he's bad for golf because he's a walking reminder of what golf is not when he's not there. He's not going to be, he's just not a guy you can rely on to carry the sport anymore because he's so fragile from a health standpoint. That's not a shot at Tiger. It's just the reality of it. So with that being said, you talk about all the young guys, you know, between the Spieth and the Koepkas and the DeChambos, and you list these names, even with Phil still in the mix too. It's just not enough to even remotely come close to the interest level that's involved when Tiger Woods is there. It's the reality of it. As I shared, I'm a big wrestling fan. I watched WrestleMania this past weekend, and the one thing that I keep hearing is they hate when WWE has to go and bring back the old timers to make it interesting again. You know, Stone Cold came out to the ring. The pop that he got when he came out. You don't hear that in today's wrestling anymore. The fan excitement, the reaction, the social media reaction, the ratings, everything through the roof. When that guy comes back, Stone Cold, The Rock, you know, The Undertaker, those guys, they always have to bring those guys back in their 50s, mid-50s and 60s just to get a rating but when I see them, it sucks because I'm like, well, there's nobody even in wrestling today that can come close to generating the pop or the reaction that those guys do. They're bad for wrestling because they constantly remind us that, hey, today's product isn't what it used to be. So we feel good for a very little bit. It gives us that fix a little bit. And then when they leave, it's back to, I guess this is what we're stuck with. You know, it's like that, you know, sometimes you get name brand, sometimes you get generic. And man, you really enjoy that Coca-Cola. And then your mom brings home RC one day. You're like, what the hell is this? And then you know, your mom slaps you in the mouth and says, now you don't get anything. It's just the reality of it. So Tiger Woods golfing, it's going to be great. It's going to feel awesome. But then when he goes away, then it's like, this is what we're stuck with. I just think he's a walking reminder of what golf is no longer, and I think that that's a problem. It's a problem that golf is not going to say, Tiger, go away. They're going to milk Tiger for everything he has left, right? And I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. But for me as a fan, every time I watch Tiger, it's just a reminder that, hey, they could try to brand Spieth, and they could try to brand Koepka, and they could try to brand DeChambeau, they could try to brand all these guys, and I tune in to watch them because they're the stars that I'm being told to watch based on the framing of the promotion. And I don't get all warm and fuzzy inside. It doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for me. I had more fun watching the match The pair of, when they did the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning with Phil and Tiger a few years ago, man, that was cool. There was nothing. That was so freaking cool just sitting back and watching that. By the way, that drew a bigger rating than the NBA Finals that year. That was pretty cool. Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Tiger mainly moves the needle. He's a walking reminder of what golf is no longer, but at the same time, it's still a great feel-good story when he is in the mix. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Let's open up the phone lines, 518-1410. Am I wrong in saying that? I think you guys, I hope you understand where I'm coming from with that. I'm not bashing Tiger. I cannot wait to watch him. All I'm saying is it just, when you watch him, when you get all the warm, fuzzy feeling you get watching him, and then watch the next golfer. Ooh, that's quite the gap. Watch the next best golfer. It's quite the gap in the fuzzies you get, right? And the thing is, it doesn't make sense. Don't you think more global stars would be made in today's day and age with social media, with as big as the internet is now? Like, if you think back in baseball, I mean, the internet was around, but I mean, those guys created names for themselves before cell phones, before Twitter, before Facebook, before social media. Like, it's just crazy to me how it's so much harder to make stars when everyone is so much more accessible in today's world than back then when it was so much more difficult to find these guys. That's what I find fascinating when it's all said and done, because at the end of the day, it should not be that hard to create stars. But man, Tiger, cannot wait for the Masters, even though I just said he's bad for golf. We'll be back. 518-1410. Don't go anywhere.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Are you involved with a school or charitable fundraiser that holds an auction, bid and buy booth, or a raffle to raise money? Many of the most popular items at auctions or booths are autographed sports memorabilia items. How can you get great items in your event? Call Adam Walter at Sports Investments. Sports Investments has a consignment program for fundraisers that has provided outstanding items. You select items that are proven sellers, including autographed pieces from Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Big Red Machine, the Bengals, the Browns, UC, XU, UK, NKU, Dayton, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Sports Investments consigns the items to your group at a highly discounted price. And when they sell, you keep the profit. You don't pay anything in advance. And if something doesn't sell, you simply return it. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
It's time to upgrade your vision at iWorks Laser and Vision Center with me, Dr. Patrick Spencer, and get $1,000 off. We offer the most advanced surgical and laser options for your best vision. Whether you want the latest premium lens for your cataract surgery or the best all-laser LASIK treatment, visit us at iWorksLaserandVisionCenter.com and let me upgrade your vision with $1,000 off. Call 937-226-7870 and get your best vision for less at iWorksLaserandVisionCenter.com.
Longer days, warmer weather. This is a time of year you need to be enjoying life without joint pain. Hey, it's Keith Byers. Time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people here and all over America get real, lasting pain relief. They use highly concentrated, cutting-edge, natural biologic treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, getting to the root of the pain. It's life-changing. You can get back to moving like you used to with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. If you have a nagging pain in your knees, hips, and shoulders, or back, and you're done with steroids and pain meds, call QC Kinetics. And if they're telling you surgery is your next option, don't do it. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation and free second opinion. Learn more about these amazing natural biologic treatments. Enjoy this time of year doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
The WING Free Agent Funds Cash Contest is a nationwide contest for your chance to win $1,000 daily. No purchase necessary to enter or win. You will receive an email confirming entry. One winner will be chosen for each day. Contest is open to U.S. residents 18 years or older. Contest is sponsored by participating Alpha Media, Aptivada, or their parent, subsidiary, and affiliated entities. Advertising agencies, promotional partners, and members of families or households are not eligible to enter or win. Odds of winning depend on number of entries received. Contest is subject to all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations. Void where prohibited. Participants must sign all contest release and waiver forms to be eligible to win the prize. The contest begins on Monday, April 4th, 2022, and ends on Friday, April 29th, 2022. To participate in the contest, you must listen to the participating radio station at the specified times and enter the word that wins at wingam.com. Contest sponsors are not responsible for technical failures or malfunctions of any kind. For full contest rules, please visit wingam.com. Decisions of station management with respect to the contest are final.
Attention, paying top dollar buying all junk cars. Junk Cars R Us, 937-542-1686. Serving Dayton, Middletown, Columbus, Springfield, Urbana, Richmond, and Sydney. Attention, paying top dollar buying all junk cars. Junk Cars R Us, 937-542-1686. Attention, Junk Cars R Us, 937-542-1686.
Menards is your destination for your next flooring project. Bring realistic wood and tile looks to your home with waterproof, super fast vinyl plank flooring. The no glue, no mess click system makes it fast and easy to install. It's durable, making it perfect for any room in your house. Super fast flooring is 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through April 9th. Savings are mail-in rebates. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And Doug.
Don't you just love the smell of old books?
Shh, this is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
It really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Driving happy with Febreze car.
You're driving home when, oh no, you hit the longest red light in town. What's this? You're smiling because your car smells amazing. You just installed a Febreze car vent clip. Ha ha! 5 weeks ago, with up to 40 days of consistent Febreze scent, those lights can stay red for as long as they'd like.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
HGTV's Build It Forward in collab with Lowe's and 100 hometowns. We'll select 5 local heroes for a surprise home renovation of their dreams. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern on HGTV and Discovery Plus.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
And we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM, coming at you live 1410 Wing AM, streaming at wingam.com. And then, of course, we are live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, which I found out did kick me off Facebook for a bit because we used the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme. And I hate the Facebook stuff. You know, the crossover, they want you to be able to tie it in with all this, but you can't use any tiny little drop of
anything.
So whatever, it is what it is. But we welcome you back. Like the Justin Kinner Show page, would you? By the way, we did just get a stack of course, I am shocker unorganized. Here we go. we're going to be giving away these tickets. Coming to Great American Ballpark this summer will be Def Leppard and Motley Crue. And we have quite a stack of Def Leppard and Motley Crue tickets that we're going to be giving away here in the coming weeks. So make sure you are following the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page, because that is where we have all the instructions of how we'll be giving away these tickets. We'll also be giving away tickets to next week's Reds Guardians series, not opening day, but that Wednesday nooner. How about that? So that's pretty dang cool. So we'll have tickets that we'll be giving away for that. Kev, you're sick that day, right? So you'll I think you
don't
said
blow my cover.
Yeah, there you go. But good stuff. 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. But like I said, the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page, make sure you have liked, followed, subscribed to that. So there you go. But talking about Tiger Woods back in the Masters, of course, the Masters starting off this week, getting closer and closer to the NFL draft, Major League Baseball. Finally, we get to opening day. I mean, crazy thing is opening day should have been last week. The Reds were supposed to open up at home against the Cubs, and that would have been on 31st. So yeah, a week from tomorrow, or a week ago from tomorrow, I guess technically, is when the opening day should have been. But nonetheless, Reds Braves tomorrow right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. 518-1410. Tiger Woods bad for golf. He's bad for golf because of only one reason. He's so damn good, and he's a walking reminder of why golf is no longer as healthy as what it once was. By the way, the sad thing is, the golfers are better than when Tiger was at his peak. The golfers are better as far as the depth that the sport has. Like, I think that the sport is better. The golfers are better. The athletes are better. But I don't.
Elite athletes?
Elite athletes, yes. Elite athletes. Hand-eye coordination and everything. So it's just one of those where that's what I always mean by just because the product is good. That's why I hate when people say those athletes deserve more coverage. You don't realize how good they are. Sometimes the same people, you need to get mad at, not the media. You need to get mad at those who are around you for not tuning in and watching. Like, a lot of times, like our listeners, it cracks me up when half the time it says, you never give any attention to X, Y, and Z. Is it that we don't give it attention because we're just silly and don't know, or because people just don't care about the topic that you're trying to tell us to talk about? Like, a lot, you know what I mean? Like, there are certain sports, levels of sports, that don't generate interest or generate a reaction, that they're just not going to take time on radio and television shows, because it's all about talking about the things that are going to generate the most interest with the audience. I had some kid go off on me the other day because I don't talk about D2 or D3 sports. And I'm like, first of all, I've always preached the importance of, if you're a high schooler and you get a D2 or D3 scholarship, that doesn't matter the level. If you're getting a scholarship, if your athletic ability is good enough to get that, that is the hugest deal no matter where you're going to play. So it's not like I don't value or respect that. But at the same time, that doesn't move the needle on a sports talk show or on a television show. People ask why you don't talk more Dragons. What about the Dragons necessarily moves the needle? I do think, after our talk with Tom Nichols earlier, Kev, that there are less teams now in the farm system, which means there's less teams to stretch this talent out over, which means you kind of get a truncated rosters of more talent now. And I think it's going to lead to players that are closer to cracking the big league roster, which is going to generate more. I think that's what's going to make this so great for Dayton. Is go look at the roster that the Dragons have right now. Their top 20 prospects all up and down. I don't think it'll be like that every year, but I think it's going to be more common because they're single A now and not double A and all that type of thing. But the point is that sometimes just because the sport exists doesn't mean it's necessarily going to draw a rating or this. Talking about the WNBA all the time. Well, they deserve, I hear this a lot, they deserve just as much coverage as the men. Okay, the men would not get the G League is a prime example. They're men. They don't get coverage. We don't talk G League basketball. That level of basketball, they deserve just as much coverage as the NBA. They work just as hard. WNBA, those players work just as hard. Women's basketball, those players work just as hard. In fact, they have it more rough than the men because they have to go play in front of little to no fans. At least the men get to go play in front of a lot of fans. Like, they at least get that perk of it. Trust me, every athlete out there, every level of a sport deserves attention, but don't blame me and Kev. Blame you.
Right.
There needs to be more of you that care about it for us to talk about it. It's as simple as that. It always fascinates me when fans yell at it, usually not you, but you're part of your guilt by association. You don't talk about this. I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean. It's not like I don't care about it, but I know for the mass audience that we have, is not going to care about that particular subject. Does it sound mean? Probably. But the reality is that we have to talk about what most people, we don't talk golf ever unless it's Tiger Woods. To sum everything, we don't talk golf unless it's Tiger Woods. Koepka, these guys, just as good. They're so good. But we don't talk about them because there's no draw. They're not interesting. It's not Tiger Woods back in the day. It's not Tiger Woods now. Tiger Woods fresh off of a near-death experience, unfortunately. You talked about the storyline. That's why Tiger Woods doesn't even have to win this week or be in contention. Kev, him just being there is the storyline. That's the draw. That's the interest right there. So we'll see. I just went on a long tangent, a little rant there, but nonetheless.
We got callers.
Who we got?
We got Jerry, line 3.
Jerry, how are you, sir?
Hey, guys. So I do agree somewhat with your point about Tiger Woods and the golf ratings.
Okay.
I think it also has to do with a couple other factors, too. So in addition to Tiger, it's a knock-on effect of Tiger. If you remember from most of Tiger's career, he played Nike equipment, and Nike would have these huge Bo Jackson-like campaigns that they'd show him on all kinds of different mediums, not just like the golf broadcasts, right? And then when Tiger had his issues, Nike kind of dropped golf. They don't do golf equipment anymore. And so now you've got everybody kind of just focused on Callaway, TaylorMade. So, but, the actual golf equipment companies, Adidas kind of gets into like apparel, but there's no real mass sports merchandising company like Nike who is out there mass promoting the sport like they did when Tiger was around.
No, I get that, but I went back to, this chart I have goes all the way back to 97, showing that when Tiger's in contention or wins, the ratings are through the roof. When he's not in contention or not in the tournament at all, ratings are below 10 mil.
Right.
So, I know what you're saying, but the Nike thing didn't come into play until, well, I was going to say a few years ago, but I guess that was almost, quite a few years ago. But even going back to the 90s, the numbers still reflected the same. Tiger, huge draw, no Tiger, it dips. And that was before the Nike draw even happened.
Oh, yeah. And let's be honest. It's no coincidence that Nike got into the mass, into the golf equipment business only when Tiger came around, right? Mm-hmm. So that's not a coincidence, right? The other thing would be, too, and again, I totally think Tiger has a huge effect on it, is just the decline in sports viewership in general. The NBA Finals draws nothing. No one cares. Baseball draws nothing. No one cares, right? Outside of the NFL, let's face it, sports just aren't watched as much now as they were, heck, even 6-7 years ago, right? I don't know why that is. I don't have any super theories about why that is. It seems like all the sports have taken viewership hits over the last few years. And then before we lose time, I wanted to ask Kev Nash real quick what he thought about Jose Ramirez signing a 5-year, I think it was $125 million contract extension with the Guardians, which is well below his market value.
Bargain.
Probably at least a bargain, capital BARGAIN, right?
Super bargain. Super bargain.
Dude, that's like almost $10 million below his market.
Yeah, that normally doesn't happen in baseball. Normally with the baseball players union, they kind of force the players to take their market value, because if they mess up and take less, then the next person is going to be expected to take less and everything like that. As far as the Guardians are concerned, as far as I'm gonna get to that. As far as the Guardians concerned, I'm a fan. So, hey, he took, $5 to $10 million less. Go spend that money on somebody else. Go spend that money on another bat. Don't just take the discount and then pocket the money. Spend the money to put a better product on the field, because you only have 2 bats to the lineup, Jose and Reyes. Those are only 2 bats that you have that can produce any type of runs. So go find a bat, pay for the bat, get another bat in the lineup. And if you get 3 bats in the lineup, you probably can win 85 games. But right now, they're only going to win like 75 games. And I tweeted this out. That is what all the fans out there that want the best player on their favorite team to do. That's what they want. This is the example people are looking for. Somebody in the prime of their career, the prime time of their earning potential. This is the example people can point to say, look, he did it. You can do it too. Are they all built like Jose? We're going to find out.
Yeah, Ron says that's the Brady effect. I don't think it's
no. They don't even. I don't know why he took that, because the Guardians are nowhere near in contention.
And
I love them to prove me wrong, but they're not.
And it's not like Cleveland's a destination spot right now. As far as, I mean, if that organization, I'll give baseball this: when baseball has a team that's rolling or looks like they're trending in the right direction, they'll get free agents to go there. That, and they usually have money. We have a few more minutes. Let's go to who's next, Kev?
We got Jack, line 2.
Jack, how are you, sir?
How you doing, Justin?
How are you? I'm doing great.
Hey, since I'm a lot older than you, I want you to go back, and possibly it might be on, but I sold Cokes at the Miami or Montgomery County Fairgrounds.
You sold Coke at the fairgrounds?
At Texas Death Match with Buddy Rogers and Sweet Daddy Sinky. Now, that goes, you might have to Google it or what, but Buddy Rogers had blonde hair. Sweet Daddy Sinky was an Afro-American that was bad. It was a Texas death match. Have you ever heard of one of those?
Yes.
They had Bob.
Put the shrug in the emojis.
And,
put the shrug in the chat.
Well, and that brought back, I was listening to you guys about, Steve Austin. He was great, but Buddy and Sweet Daddy Sinky were right up there with him.
Really?
Did I stutter?
All right. On that note, man, Jack, that was good stuff. But we are out of time. We're out of time. They ain't no Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're no Pat McAfee. How about Pat McAfee? Please say you watched the Pat McAfee highlights.
I saw it. I got to get the clip of the show, though. It's a good clip right there.
What?
How do you think that's going to fly with the bosses on social media?
It's not the politically correct way. Never mind. No, we're done. Have a good night. The last Buckeye Roundtable of the season before next week's spring game, of course, is coming up. We'll have the spring game preview show next week with the final Buckeye Roundtable show coming up next right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Until tomorrow, this has been the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Expert Realty. Did I stutter?
That ain't what he said.